All right, we are live. Welcome to the show, everybody, anybody that's here. I had one viewer, I lost him, so I'm down to 0 viewers. But somehow my ego will have to recover from such a crushing judgment against me. Anyway, welcome to the show. It's another Sunday night chill stream. Tonight's there's my one viewer back, or maybe it's a different one viewer. I don't know. Welcome, anyway, whoever you are. So. Where is it? No, down here. The title of tonight's show is 1,000-Yard Stare, and I was thinking about everybody who watched Dogecoin drop from 75 cents to 45 cents or something right when Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live. They thought, I don't know what they thought was going to happen with Dogecoin, but it's like, oh, our guy, he's a Dogecoin guy. He's going on Saturday Night Live, and we're going to go from 75 cents to $75 or whatever. And it went exactly the opposite way. And there's a couple of people, warehouse guys I know that play around in the crypto casino, and they're stunned. They don't know what to think. They were walking around like, but I don't understand. Elon Musk was on Saturday Night Live, which I didn't see, but apparently was not very funny. And it goes to show that you could be a really rich rocket scientist, and some of the presentations they do for the new Tesla truck or whatever have been stylish and made you appear like you are maybe a hipper, funnier guy than you are. But going and doing sketch comedy or any comedy is not as easy as you think it is, without practice. And of course, he had no practice, and the whole regular crew quit on him. So, yeah, I don't know that went the way he thought, but he's probably sitting there going like everybody's sitting there like, what went wrong, But these guys don't know what's funny. You know what I mean? They're not professional comedians, and they don't, they have somebody tell them what's hot, what's current, what's cutting edge, and they rely on that. And of course, their subordinates are not as good as they think they are. Anyway, the 1,000-yard stare is the inability to make sense of what just happened, and that's what a lot of people are going to be dealing with soon. Right before showtime, check the price of Bitcoin. Looks like we're pumping again now. We're at 59 plus right at showtime. So we've been hanging around the 50s for I don't know, a month or 6 weeks or something, and people are very frustrated. But I remember last year we stood at like 9,000 for like 3 months. We were bouncing around in the 9,000s for 3 months, and then we broke out. We went broke past 20 and stuff. So probably same thing's happening now. This 50,000 range is going to be what the 9,000 range was last year. So exciting things to look forward to for this month and for this year. Will Dogecoin ever recover from the Saturday Night Live debacle? I don't know. If you got an extra 45 cents, you could go buy some. You could go buy some Dogecoin or whatever. You got $4.50. You could buy some Dogecoin. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you could score big. But we have to go on with the show. But the stuff that's happening is like what happened. Donald Trump launched a blog, which immediately sank like a stone, because having a blog is cutting edge internet in 1996. In 2021, like nobody cares. Like it was incredibly bad. That was incredibly horrible, and which just convinces me that my man that Trump sinks to absolute irrelevancy. There were dudes on Twitter, like guys like Scott McGreer, and they're like, there's something of Trump fans, they're like, oh, it's Trump's party, it's and I'm telling you right now, if this is Donald's party is what, it's Caitlyn Jenner, the former Olympian who became the husband of a reality TV family, who, by the way, everyone forgets killed someone in a drunk driving accident, then transitioned to a woman and is now an open borders transgender, but I'm against transgenders in sports. Like, do you think any of this makes sense? It's like anyone that looks at this, has to think this is the most insane possible of all possible timelines. The way kids talk, like a multiverse of there's really 10 Earths or 50 or 100 Earths, and each one has a different timeline, and different things happen on different timelines. But the one where Caitlyn Jenner becomes governor of the conservative, the transgender, manslaughter person, former Olympian, becomes the conservative governor of California and is all for open borders, but not allowing transgenders into girls' sports. This is, you're not going to be able to make stuff like this up much longer. I mean, no one can. Wait a minute, that's the wrong photo. Hey, that's the one I wanted. So anyone that thinks that there's a way to make sense of this, there isn't. That's why I tell people just buy Bitcoin, custody it yourself. Stay out of everything. Stay away from everything and every movement, because it's all bullshit. None of it can lead to a good place. Do whatever you need to do to make it through the day, and stack like crazy. Sell everything you don't need, and buy Bitcoin and hang on, because when this whole thing comes crashing down, when the transsexual governor of what kind of scandal, like, really, imagine with me for a moment, Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, becomes the governor of California, a transsexual person who is responsible for vehicular homicide. Again, everybody forgets that. What kind of scandal takes them down? Like, what kind of scandal, is necessary to take down Caitlyn Jenner? And people forget that Trump was all palsy-wowsy to during the campaign, and they're trying that grift, and I don't think the 2016 grift is going along. Judas Fly Chai, welcome to the show. So Tweety Bird, Tweety, you are an accelerationist. So anyway, my point is Trump is finished, and the guy that I believe is the next president of these here United States. I'm going to show him to you right now. People think that I'm a big fan of him. I'm not actually a fan of this guy. All right. Let's see. Come on, put him up. Put him on the screen. Yeah, there he is. That's Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. I tweeted about him a bunch of times. I have no illusions that he's our guy. You see whose guy he really is. He's not our guy. He's just another line of Shabbos Goy in a long line of Shabbos Goy. And so, but you're not going to be able to tell the Trump people that he failed, right? He didn't put Hillary in jail. He didn't build a wall. He didn't bring back the jobs from China. The Biden people, if there even are Biden people, his stupid logo, the focus tested logo is build back better. You ain't building nothing back. With plywood being $600 a sheet, what the fuck? You can't afford to build anything. No, how can you afford to build anything with the price of plywood? You know what I mean? And also, earlier today, there was a cyber attack supposedly on Colonial Pipeline. Nobody knows where these cyber attacks are coming from, inside the country, outside the country, whatever. But that's going to knock their refinery offline, and it's a big emergency. It's 2.5 million gallons of gasoline a day or a week or something like that. And how it's a ransomware attack, and no more details other than that. So ransomware attack is someone takes over your computer. There's a screen that says, we're not going to give you back control of the computer until you send Bitcoin. It's almost always Bitcoin. They never ask for Dogecoin. They never ask for Monero. They always ask for Bitcoin. There's a ransomware attack on Colonial Pipelines, and there's no news about it. When DeSantis, recently there was a cyber attack on the public water system, on the water treatment system in Florida, and DeSantis was tweeting about how he's not going to stop people from going to the Super Bowl, and it's your right as an American to go to the Super Bowl and not wear a mask. And I'm like, and they're building this guy up, and he's going to be the big Republican hero, the big conservative hero. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe before you concern yourself with sports ball, you maybe concern yourself with someone literally poisoning the well. But all these guys, they have their handlers, they have their people in the background that tell them what to say, what issues to jump on and what to avoid. And that's what they do. But this guy is most likely the next president of the United States. There's no one, I think, even close to him right now. and he's insanely ambitious. But please try and remember, none of these guys is what people say they are. You know what I mean? They're all every last one. They're Tel Aviv's puppets. They're not our guys. You know what I mean? They're just not our guys. So let me stop sharing that. But it's important to remember, they're all like that, every single one. You don't get to the level they're at without passing through a number of screenings, which move you, closer and closer and closer to the bagel benders. You know what I mean? Your interest and their interest are inseparable. You know what I mean? And the skill of these of a politician these days is how to not say, okay, here's the stuff I'm working for, but here's what I'm going to convince you. Here's what I need to convince you of so you'll elect me. That's really the task of getting elected, of politicking. You know what I mean? Perhaps before both parties were completely bought out, maybe there were differences in opinion. You could actually say, well, this is our platform, that's our platform. Maybe in the 50s or the 60s, but that's been dead for years, for decades. So you just do what the bankers say, and behind the scenes, and you'll, maybe you can get in. Yeah, I mean, you have to beat the other guy, but maybe you can get in. But we're living in maybe one of the most insane times ever, and I think when people look back at it, it's gonna appear unreal. This was a story I just saw. Somebody put this together on Twitter, and it kind of shows where we are. And this is a theme, like, going forward, you guys got to be aware of. So let's have it come up, right? So the story is prom queen, a high school girl in Florida, right, rigged the election for homecoming queen. And apparently the authorities found out about this, and she's going to be charged as an adult with some type of felony for asking, whatever, a text group or whatever to, hey, Jonathan Pohl, how's it going? To make sure she was voted prom queen. And if you could see the top of her head. She's a pretty blonde girl. She looks like a prom queen anyway. But right next to it is the story of the, what if I do this? Can I make that bigger? Right next to that is the story of the two black girls in Washington, D.C. that called the Uber Eats driver, carjacked him, happened to be an Indian driver. They zapped him with a stun gun. They stole his car, as well as, of course, the food. He hung on to the driver's side door. They went down to the end of the street, made a sharp right turn at speed, rolled the car over, rolled over him, and killed him, and then jumped out of the car. All this is caught on video. Those two girls will not be charged as adults. They're going to be charged as children. There's going to be no felony record for them. So white girl wants to be homecoming queen and kind of bends the high school rules. Literally, they're going to drop the fucking courthouse on her head. Two black girls kill somebody, in the course of a grand theft auto, and, slap on the wrist. This is the world we live in, right? And then below that, there's a article on how some judge dismissed the charges on I don't know how many Black Lives Matter protesters. So to anybody watching this, you have to understand, if you spit on the sidewalk, really and truly, if you spit on the sidewalk, you're going to prison for fucking 10 years. And the people, there's going to be crazy lunatics out there, people of color, ANTIFA, whatever, and they're going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want. You need to be aware of this, to see these people from a long distance away, see these situations developing, and move yourself and whoever you're with away from them. Don't get curious. Don't go, let me see what it's like. Let me go take some video of it. Don't. Just leave. Somebody else will post it on Instagram, or they'll post it on Twitter, or they'll post it on some platform, and you can watch it from the safety of your own home. To, avoid any sort of circumstance where you're going to be in a conflict with other people is critical. Which brings me to the Portland boomer. This guy, This guy forgot he forgot a number of things. One of the things he forgot was he's not on the fucking internet. Let's show this guy. This just a couple days ago. In Portland, Antifa is blocking off some streets. So you can see some dreadlock dude here. He's got a white t-shirt and there's a vest on. He's actually holding an AR, and there's somebody in a red pickup truck. And there was a screaming match before. Fuck you this, fuck you, no fuck you, no fuck you, no double fuck you. Don't tell me fuck you, fuck you. So there's that, and they blocked the road, and he starts to move, and then stand by. I have a whole series of exciting still shots here. There we go. And share. I gotta click share. I finally get this working, and I forget the sequence of what I'm supposed to do. This is what's really important for some of you people to understand. He gets to the crowd, right? And they're screaming, get out of here, get out of here. Now you can see in front of him, open road, right? It's, hey, Tom Anderson, how's it going? Open road. The guy is now past, there's a group of armed Antifa. He has now passed them in his red pickup truck. And, what does he do? What does this guy do? What does he do? Well, we're going to find out in a moment. Where is this? There we go. And don't know if you've seen it. I linked to this video in the show notes. It's there's a number of videos on this incident, but the video I linked to is only like 1 minute, 36 seconds. So he stops the truck and he gets out, right? And now he's cursing, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Everybody there with the Antifa. Now this Antifa guy with the white hat, I don't know how well you can see it. He's got an AR, some type of long gun. Behind him is a light-skinned black dude with a white mask on, who also seems to have a long gun. So he gets out and he's cursing at these guys, both of whom have weapons drawn on him, right? This is some boomer in a fucking Carhartt fucking hoodie who decides, I'm not going to get away in my high-speed pickup truck. No. I'm going to get out, and I'm going to say, fuck you, right to the face of these Antifas. All right? So, hold on. We got a story in... a story in 4 parts. And now we share again. Chrome tab. Somebody pushes him. They just pushed him, and he bounces off the tailgate of his own truck. They're screaming and yelling. He's surrounded, right? And what does he do? What does he do? Do I have the last one? Yes, I have the last one. I have to stop sharing that one and do this one. Yes. Well, this is working so smooth these days. I am so overcoming my own boomer tech limitations. So then what does he do? Then he draws his concealed handgun, right, and starts charging towards these other people. And, not realizing that he's surrounded, and he gets clocked in the back of the head, falls like a fucking sack of shit. They take his fucking gun. They kick him in the head a few times. They break his ribs. And then there's video of him laying there moaning and crying how he's diabetic. So you have a diabetic boomer who has never been in a real fight in his life, right? He's going to mouth off to a bunch of people all of whom already have their guns out. I'm not a gunfighter. I was in the taxi business. I got stuck up at gunpoint twice. I've been shot at a few times. I own guns myself, and I'm murder on cardboard targets. If you are my adversary and you are made of cardboard, I got your number, pal. And I'm not an expert on gunfighting. I'm really not. But what I'm about to say, I have a high degree of confidence in. Don't draw when other people have the drop on you. Okay? Don't draw a little pop gun when you're up against 6 or 8 people with long guns. When you have the chance to escape 6 or 8 people with long guns in a relatively fast vehicle, like a brand new Ford pickup truck, use it. Don't get out of your truck and make some fucking symbolic display of whatever, the pointlessness of your fucking boomer life. Okay? This guy has no fucking clue what he's doing. He's a fat fucking diabetic boomer with a fucking handgun who is, I don't know what he thinks he's going to do. But don't be this guy. Don't make a point of anything. You're not going to win anything. No dramatic victory is going to occur. Nothing's going to change. You're going to be surrounded, beaten down, or caught in a crossfire. Who the fuck knows? And you don't know, Leslie would say, they're Antifa. Maybe they don't have bullets in the guns. Maybe there's no rounds in there. You don't know. You have to be delusional to think you're going to win this. You know what I mean? What does winning look like in this situation? What are you looking to get out of this situation? Do you really think, a fat boomer in a pickup truck with diabetes is going to make 20 lunatics stoned out Antifa with AR-15s run away? Is that what you really think is going to happen? This is not the internet, boomer. This is the real world. You're not behind the computer anymore. There's real consequences for shit like that. And so with all of this, by the way, the boomer is the one who's going to go to jail if anybody's going to go to jail, because he escalated the situation. This is what you need to understand legally. That's why I showed the pickup truck with the empty road. He had the chance to leave, but he goes back into this situation. He escalates the situation, right? They push him, right, which is not lethal force. Then he draws a pistol, which is lethal force. Then they knock him out and disarm him. Do you see how fucking wrong this guy is? With his blowhard sense of fucking boomer morality, whatever the fuck machismo nonsense, he is legally wrong. He's fucking tactically retarded. Okay, this is near suicidal, and he will forever be a fucking meme. Okay, let this be a lesson to you. Do not be this person. Do not associate with people like this. If you know people like this at work or in some part of your personal life, cousins, neighbors or something, get away from them. Stay away from them. They're going to behave like this, and they'll drag you down with them. They'll drag you into the fucking jackpot with them. And you don't want that, okay? There's no winning this. There is no winning this. You have to make the distinction between this is the internet and this is the real world. And most of you are not the same way in the real world as you are in the internet, okay? Everybody on the internet's a fucking macho He-Man. In the real world, they'd stand like a fucking mouse with 2 feet and 1 fucking shoe. So, and be aware of who you associate with and what they do. All right, now it's time. Tom Anderson has reminded me that it's my duty to promote, whatever, Hellenic alcoholism. But you don't be that guy. Don't be that boomer. That is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly. You should really think about that. So that's that. What else? Blah 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 blah. What do we got? We got a bunch of different things. Let me take a look in the chat for a moment and have a sip of my fucking juice here. Tom Anderson, he predicted that. I knew it was only a matter of time before they picked up rifles and handguns. Yeah, sooner or later they're going to get them, right? They can't all have felony records. Tom Anderson also in the chat. Isn't it wild how police literally allow anarchic terrorists to set up armed roadblocks? Yeah, here's the thing you guys got to understand. And I tried to start a fight with somebody on Twitter and they don't want to hear it. They're like, white people have to be tribal and we have to think about tribalism and blah, 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 blah. You listen, you fucking retard. Tribalism, the cops are not acting the way they act, specifically standing down, right? And let Antifa or BLM do whatever they want to do. They're not standing down because they're ideologically sympathetic to BLM or Antifa or anything, or that they have a tribal affinity to the people in BLM or Antifa. They're standing down because their paychecks and their pensions come from the politicians, and the politicians tell them to stand down. In New York City, there are police guarding the BLM, the Black Lives Matter graffiti, the official graffiti on the fucking ground, you know. They're guarding that 24/7. The police are openly protecting Antifa and BLM. They're not our friends. They're not on your side. Don't back the blue. You know what I mean? That's a bunch of fucking bullshit. And you need to understand how this is how bad it is. It's this bad and this crazy. And when you I don't know where you are, whether you're allowed to leave your house, you're not allowed to leave your house. You know, like I said, avoid this stuff like the plague. If this stuff is happening where you live, look at, you know, they always want to be at the center of attention. They're going to be in the middle of downtown or whatever. Avoid that area. Start driving different routes. You know what I mean? Go the long way around the city. Yeah, it's going to cost you more money in tolls and gas or whatever, but you're never going to be caught. You're never going to be surrounded in traffic by these lunatics and subject to, you know, circumstance. Okay. If you just go and listen, to put your ego aside, drive around the long way around town, take the whatever you got to do, avoid this stuff, you know, because you don't want to get caught up in the middle of it. There's no winning it. There's no winning. Zero. There's zero chance of winning. You know, and if by some miracle you manage to win, it'll bankrupt you, and it'll be you won't be free of this for like 7 years. You know, between the courts and appeals and back and forth. Just don't do it. Be smarter than that. Don't film it. Just skedaddle. Get away. And I cannot emphasize that strongly enough. You know, the courts are against you. The police are against you. The politicians are against you. You spit on the sidewalk, you will go to prison for 10 fucking years. Antifa can burn a fucking city, murder whoever the fuck they want, and nothing's going to happen to them. The case will be fucking thrown out. The case will absolutely be thrown out. Yeah, so that's that. That's mostly that. What else? What's going on? What's going on? Crypto is eating Wall Street. A lot of people, there's a few crypto people here, Tom Anderson. One of them, I don't know, are you a Dogecoin guy, by the way, Tom Anderson? Are you suffering a catastrophic loss in Dogecoin? Yeah, crypto's eating Wall Street. You know, I'm talking to like people. Whatever, full disclosure, I actually bought 65 Dogecoins or something the other day because I'm in a warehouse and a bunch of guys know I'm a Bitcoin guy and they're like, no, you got to buy Dogecoin, blah. And I'm like, I said, I'm not fucking buying Dogecoin. It's shit. And they're like, come on. And there's like 40 guys. And I was like, my exchange doesn't even list them. You know, I said, look here. And I open up Gemini and it's like, oh, you can trade Dogecoin now. I'm like, fuck. So I looked at how much money was like laying at the bottom of the couch cushions in my account. It was like $40. So I bought whatever, 62 Dogecoins or whatever. Now it's 50 cents. I bought it at 73 cents. It's at 53 cents. So I lost $10. But I bought it just to make these guys shut up. And they're like cheering, like this half the fucking warehouse at Falcon Jet. It's like, yay, you know. But I just did it because these guys were busting my balls and whatever. It's a joke. But these guys don't think about Wall Street. They don't think about pensions. They don't think about real estate. They think about crypto. And these are warehouse guys. And I'm telling you, a lot of people think that kids under 25, that's all they think about. And, you know, GameStop and whatever all those stocks that were in the news and the Robinhood app, are the bridge to the new casino where everyone's going to lose all their money and end up completely broke. And when they end up completely broke, when they buy for real, like they pour them like not $40, they pour like whatever their life savings into fucking Dogecoin, and it drops 90% overnight. They're good, and they have to go. Now they're in debt and they have to go to work. They're going to be insanely miserable. So Tom Anderson giving us real-time Ethereum updates. Just smashed through 4K. Congrats to the Ethereum people, the people of Ether. But this Ethereum, whatever. Good luck with that. Like I said, it's. I don't know where it could go. Could it go to 10,000? I don't fucking know. But it's Ethereum. Vitalik Buterin is a sketchy dude. He sold a bunch of that stuff. They can change their policy at any time. It's, it is what it is. This year is the year of the crypto casino, and no one can lose. Almost no one can lose. And don't convince yourself come October, November that you're some kind of genius and you can time the market and you have some sort of miraculous understanding, because Bitcoin's going up. It's bringing everything else up with it, all this crap, and the euphoria you feel. I'm making money. I'm going to buy this or that or whatever these people think they're going to do. When the bubble pops, and I guarantee you it will pop for them, unless you're holding Bitcoin at the end of the year, they're going to be devastated. There will be no building back better, because nobody believes that, right? Everybody just thinks, I'm going to put all my money on this fucking shit coin, and then I'll retire. I'll be a millionaire. It isn't going to happen like that. You need to hedge against the coming inflation. $600 plywood or whatever the fuck plywood and 2x4s are going for. There's memes on the fucking internet that if you want to show off how rich you are, you shoot a box of 45 caliber ammunition at a piece of plywood. That shows how rich you are. You know what I mean? So all these commodities are going sky high, and the plywood thing is a little bit more complicated than just straight inflation, but it's not going to get better. And Uncle Joe, Papa Joe Biden, down in D.C. is going to borrow. There's going to be another $2 trillion stimulus at the end of the year. $6 a gallon in California. I think I saw gas like $4.50 a gallon in New York City and Queens. So it's it's going all over the place, and it's going to impact. I said earlier, as things get more and more difficult, as everyday life becomes more and more difficult, your money doesn't buy you what it used to buy you. It becomes more difficult to sustain the level of prosperity or the material comfort that you're accustomed to, and you can't see a way out of this. You can't see how to get a raise. You can't see how to make any more money. People are going to start to do more and crazier things. And that's what crypto is going to be, right there to fucking take all of your fucking money, especially from these young kids, and loan them money and put them in fucking debt and make them debt slaves forever. That is absolutely what is going to happen. Tweety Bird in the chat, groceries going up, yet the shelves in the food stores are looking sketchily bare. I don't know. I'm seeing plenty of food in a lot of different supermarkets. So I'm not sure where you are, Tweety Bird, what part of the country, but I have not seen that. I have not seen bare supermarket shelves. Yeah, there's the point is the central bankers, and whether you want to look at them as just an evil group of that wasn't what I wanted. What am I doing? This was my whole point. Whether you want to look at them as a criminal cabal, of one ethnicity or some other way, I don't. Again, I don't care. I have made the point that I am completely non-ideological. And I want to share this tweet. There's actually a book written with this on this very subject. And the tweet, you can see it now, it's the ceiling of, I think, an Orthodox church. And the guy on Twitter is called, was it Laser Hodel? And the question is, did God create Bitcoin to destroy communism? Right. So if you see, a lot of true believers, and people know I'm not a believer, but a lot of believers know that Christians have suffered greatly under communism, and that the Vladimir Lenin's quote of if you establish a central bank, you're 90% towards achieving communism. I don't know how accurate that quote is, but I just read that on Twitter, so I'm going to run with it. But if your worldview is a Christian worldview, right, and you're looking at the way the world is going right now, you've got to be horrified, right? And when you see people being deplatformed and unable to make a living, and they can't get they lose their college scholarships, they can't get a loan, they can't get a job. Bitcoin as a counter to the current financial system, and maybe you see Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke and Alan Greenspan, as the grandchildren or the descendants of the Pharisees, right? The Pharisees who rejected Jesus, and so the Pharisees control the central banks, and so they are the children of Satan, and we have accepted Christ as our savior. And listen, I don't care what your worldview is. You know what I mean? If you're a Bitcoin person, if you're like, God allowed man to create Bitcoin to defeat the children of the Pharisees, to defeat the devil's children, I'm with you, bro. Listen to me. I'm not going to church with you, but I'm 100% with you. My goal is to peacefully and legally destroy the Federal Reserve Corporation of America. And Bitcoin is the weapon to do that. Okay. And it's the only weapon that can do that. I know there's people on this channel, they're gold bugs, and I've gone over this. Gold does not scale. You know what I mean? Running around with gold coins and a pistol a gold coin in one hand, trying to get a sandwich, and your gun in the other to make sure nobody steals your gold coin is not a practical way to live. And who guards the gold coins back at your house? Like, this is, this 21st century Mad Max fantasy is, even if it does come true, whoever can project force over, any sort of distance, and they're going to be able to, they're going to have some sort of monetary system to project force. Whoever can project force over any great distance is going to win. You understand? If you're just sneaking through back alleys with your bag of gold coins, in one hand and a pistol in another, you're not, you're at the survival level. Anybody above that who can make their economy scale will take you out faster than you can say, fractional reserve banking. So something to consider, for people who are believers. I don't know. Does this make sense? And somebody actually wrote a book about this. You know what I mean? That's not just a random tweet. I've seen others like that, but I meant to show that last week, but somehow it didn't go through. So the reality of being able to project force is what's going to win, even if, regardless of what this collapse looks like and when it comes. And I don't know when it's going to come, but I'm guessing it's going to come right after hyper Bitcoinization, right? After Bitcoin goes to $1, $5, $10 million per Bitcoin. And to some people that sounds insane, but last year, remember, Bitcoin was $9,000. You know what I mean? Actually, it was actually the beginning of the year. This time last year, it was like $3,000. So, and what is the alternative? It's a fair question to ask. What is the alternative that will scale? The gold debate's been done. You can't give gold to 5 billion people. Every gold cash, what's his name? Who's the dude from armored car driver from South Africa? You know what I mean? Is that really going to be your life? Are you going to go to the grocery store? You think you're as smooth and cool as that South African armored car driver? You know what I mean? That's going to be your run to the grocery store. No, it's not going to get it. You're not going to survive like that. You know what I mean? Well, you know, changing your gold coins for whatever, a neck of a cow or something, a quarter of a steer, you know, already butchered. Like, come on, you're not doing that. So something that scales is going to work, and it's not going to be gold coins. It just isn't. And maybe in isolated pockets, but they're going to get rolled over. Yeah, gold would be worthless in a Mad Max situation anyway. Yeah, well, you know, gold. The value of gold is it's used in computers. It's used in motherboards and whatever. Whatever. It's used in computers, so it's used to mine, store, and transmit Bitcoin. So that's the value of gold. It is subordinate now to Bitcoin. People don't want to hear that. Gold bugs don't want to hear that. I didn't check the price of gold before the show, but it's still down. It hasn't spiked up. Silver, the people who control silver just knocked the price of silver down 20% or something the other day. This whole centralized command and control of something of value inevitably means you have to trust people who are not incentivized to play by the rules. Yes, Jonathan Pohl, I did see you on your show. You said you got you tweeted you got a job interview. Is it the South African Community College or some place wonderful like the Cape Town Institute for Welding and Thievery? Or I wonder, is it in America? Can you tell us that? Like, give us press 1 in the chat if your job interview is in America. Press 2 if your job interview is outside of America. If you get to resume your fabulous adventure life of gallivanting around the globe, trying to put factual knowledge in the heads of people who are only interested in getting a piece of paper, which guarantees them some sort of soft sinecure so that they never have to work again. So, wow, Southern California. So that is a foreign country. So you will be in what I think they're gonna call it Transofornia or something like that. You know, Transo Cabo San Lucas, Transo San Lucas, because we all transgenders. It'll basically be not like you're in a foreign country. It'll be like you're on another planet. That'll be awesome. But listen, if you get a job, that'll be fantastic. I have no idea how you'll be able to Southern California. Oh, well, whatever. You'll get some stories out of that. That's for sure. But speaking of which, of foreign countries, I was thinking about some people were talking about when I mentioned the Colonial Pipeline thing and the reservoir attack in Florida, these cyber attacks, these ransomware attacks, these cyber hackers that, you know, we can't seem to stop them, right? It's like a 9/11, you know, we got the world's greatest Air Force and the world's greatest radars and the most super dominant military machine in God's green earth, and we couldn't stop 9/11, right? And now the NSA, well, we know what they really do, right? But the NSA and all these intelligence agencies can't stop these ransomware attacks or even figure out where they're coming from. That are shutting down pipelines and poisoning the water and stuff. And there are people that believe that, you know, North Korea and Iran have groups of hackers that are sitting there like this on the fucking keyboard hacking away. Yes, we will take down the great Satan with the keyboard. I absolutely do not believe that at all. Like, not at all. I am entirely convinced that there's Israel, of course, that's probably doing the ransomware attacks. But it's no one, I think, has anywhere near our capabilities in cyber warfare, because if they did, we would take them out. You know what I mean? You remember anyone in Iran or anyone who's associated with Iran who might be able to build a nuclear bomb ends up getting killed one way or another, right? They shoot them, they blow them up, you know, a gas leak in their fucking house or whatever, they die, you know. And why? Because Israel doesn't want to have any other organized state around it be that Syria, be that Iran, whatever, with a similar capability as Israel has. They don't want any type of parity. They don't want any type of, they want absolute dominance. And we would want exactly the same thing. So if these cyber attacks, these ransomware attacks really were from North Korea, we would find a way to whack these guys. We could drone strike the building they're in. You know what I mean? Something would happen if they were not in one central location. The Navy SEALs or the Delta Force would go over there, and these guys would shoot themselves in the back of the head twice. You know what I mean? I don't believe for 5 seconds anyone has anything anywhere near our capability in cyber attacks. And I think we can make it look like anything happened anywhere, like the Gulf of Tonkin incident in Vietnam. Nobody was really shooting at the boat, you know, like it's all fucking bullshit. It's all false flag shit. You know, every war we ever got in was false flag, right? Since the whatever Spanish American War. So, and I don't think that that's changed in the 21st century. So these cyber attacks from foreign actors, I don't believe they have the capability. I understand a little something about computer networking, and while they would not be able to identify the exact machine right away to trace it back, they can tell what part of the internet it came from, because it's sort of like roughly 3 parts: the American part, the Russian part, and the Chinese part. They'd at least be able to tell where it came, like, and then from there they'd figure it out. They would leapfrog back one step until they found where these people were, and then that building would blow up. You know what I mean? That building would blow up, and somebody, you know, in Delta Force or fucking Navy SEALs would get a special fucking medallion, and they would hide it until he's fucking retired or whatever, and that would be that. So I personally don't believe in that, and how these computer systems are exploited just is not explained. No one, in the 80s and the 90s, when the tech boom first started, you know, there were all these experts that were talking about how this stuff happened, and there were port sniffers and this and that, and there's phishing attacks and different things. But now you don't get to question it. Ransomware attack, cyber attack, from who, from where? Like who finds this out? Like who studies this? Who goes after these guys? Nobody knows, you know, and none of it's ever resolved. It's just that you're going to pay more at the pump because of some mysterious cyber criminals that no one knows where they are. They could be in Louisiana. They could be in Latakia, Syria. They could be in, you know, Norway. They're in Utah, sitting next to the guy who fucking stole my Bitcoin. Speaking of which, there's a new guy in cargo that's from Syria, and I forget how I walked in and he's like, "Oh, Mr. James, you're back, Mr. James," and he's like, all being friendly, wants to talk to me and stuff, and he is of the opinion, and I found this to be odd, that Assad, Bashar al-Assad, son of Hafez al-Assad, when the whole Syrian war started, he thought that Assad was too soft, that he was trying to negotiate with the people from al-Nusra Front and al-Qaeda and stuff. And he said, it's the Middle East. You must have iron hand. You must have iron hand. You know, and he was really making that point that Assad was too soft too soon. And part of that was because he had gone to school in the West and he was educated as a doctor in England or something like that. I think a dentist, not a doctor, but he was very much of the opinion that you know, he loved Syria, and I don't think if he could live there or go back and live there, I think he would, but he felt that Assad was not tough enough. And I'm like, have you seen the fucking leaders of the West? How fucking marshmallow soft they are. But he said he had a job in between the Turkish border and Latakia, where we sent the missiles, where Trump sent the missiles. And he used to have to drive at night along the roads there, and the al-Nusra would just shoot at whatever cars and vehicles were traveling on this road through the fucking desert. And it was, eye doctor. He was an eye doctor. I thought it was a dentist. Eye doctor. Eye doctor is a step up from dentist. But Yeah, so he said, that driving at night across these long stretches of fucking Syria, never even knowing if you're being shot at was like very, very, very nerve wracking. Tom Anderson. Hafiz al-Assad's older brother was supposed to take over, but died in a car wreck. Was it really? Oh, I bet the conspiracy people are all over that. Or maybe not. No doubt. Listen, I wouldn't doubt the guy died in a car wreck. Those people, I don't know a great deal about them, but, it's not impossible that they go out of their minds and do all sorts of things. Because they really do have a level of power we don't really appreciate in the West. Jonathan Pohl, supposedly CIA created ISIS out of the remnants of Al Qaeda, a breakaway faction. Well, listen, everybody, again, it's incentive. Why do you want to be the number 4 guy in Al Qaeda? You could be the number 1 guy in ISIS. You know what I mean? Really, should you always be in the shadow of this guy? So it's not difficult to stimulate somebody's ambition, especially when you're going to make that ambition come true. You know what I mean? We have the power to facilitate that. You know what I mean? And so it's just a matter of picking the right chucklehead. But people, whatever, over on Gab, what's his name? Nicholas Fuentes. By the way, I found out Baked Alaska supposedly got arrested by the FBI in January. I thought he was still free. Apparently, the FBI picked up Baked Alaska in January 16th, 10 days after the insurrection. I had no idea. I thought he was running around loose. But he's associated with Fuentes, and Fuentes is running his mouth over on fucking Gab, and they're promoting him on Gab, and I'm like, this is the guy with the cat boy from Australia, and he runs around. He's always got his shirt off, and he's a 16-year-old kid. And he's shoving a giant black dildo down his throat and running around with pink ribbons in his hair, ironically. And he's the Christian, whatever. It's just, and they're associated with Richard Spencer, of course, and they're associated with Milo Yiannopoulos and that whole fucking whatever that fucking shit show. That and they're trying to make a beef, like they're trying to give him street cred, like, oh, he's on the no-fly list. I don't give a fuck if he's on the no-fly list. Who else is on the no-fly list? Ashley Babbitt. You know what I mean? Or maybe she's flying up in heaven with the fucking angels. So I don't care that some 20% Mexican social media person who's vaguely connected to Spencer and Yiannopoulos and all those other fucking people. He's on the no-fly list, whatever. Okay, so I don't care. It's like they're trying to give him street cred, like, oh, he's so oppressed, he's so held down. No, I'm not buying it. And he's not super Catholic boy running around with his cat boy boyfriend from Australia, whatever the fuck that was. It's the grift is multifaceted. It really is. But if you were over on Gab and you see the stuff that Fuentes is posting, you would think he was like a guy like me, like a 55-year-old guy who's angry that he paid taxes his whole life and everything's crumbling. But he's a 22-year-old homosexual who does his own show on whatever platform. He always seems to find another platform, and he's talking like he spent decades, supporting the system, and now, I'm just now seeing it's all a bunch of crap. Yeah, all right, whatever. Not buying it, son. Not buying it. But what else? What else do I have here? I don't have. I almost think I've pretty much run out of stuff to say, which is sad. Eo Manrick, haven't seen you around. Where you been, bro? Welcome to the show at 12:11 a.m. Eo Manrick in the chat. I was hoping that Fuentes was off to jail after the Capitol riot. Would be based. Yeah, I don't think there'd be enough of him to rape. You know what I mean? He's you got to imagine him raping him. He's like what is it, 4 foot? He's like basically like Hervé Villechaize in Fantasy Island. He's that little guy going boss, boss, a little midget. That's what he's. So he's going. He's not going to jail. All these guys are too important to the Department of Justice. They can't actually have them go to jail. You know what I mean? That's street level stuff. You need street guys that can go in and out of the system. These guys are not street guys. You know what I mean? They can't. In the drug world, the street level drug world, there's always snitches. There are cops who couldn't do their jobs without snitches. So somebody's a snitch, but they arrest the snitch along with everyone else. You know what I mean? Because they can't arrest the 6 guys that they want and leave the snitch out. The snitch has to go in the van with all the other guys. You know what I mean? They have to establish that credibility. So if you think they don't do that on the federal level, they're not doing that with, oh, poor Nick Fuentes, he's on the no-fly list. So what? Rent the fucking car. Drive there. Where are you going to go that's so fucking important you can't drive there? You got to fly. Since call me, Joe Constitution, but I don't remember reading in the Constitution where flying on a commercial airplane is a constitutional right that I'm aware of. You know what I mean? Manrick, I always catch the streams halfway through and start from the beginning. Well, thank you, Manrick. I appreciate that. Tom Anderson, 6 million what, bro? So what is 6 million? 6 million. Tom Anderson, that's just is that a random anti-Semitic reference? I mean, if you listen, I'm all for doing anti-Semitisms. If everybody wants to get together and doing a group anti-Semitism or a group racism, as long as, or a group homophobia or a group misogyny or whatever, I'm down. You know what I mean? Let's party. But just randomly typing 6 million in the chat, Tom Anderson, I have no idea what you're talking about. Smash up the like button, by the way. Make sure I only got 3 likes in the last stream. How does 60 people watch the stream and only 3 people like it? It doesn't make sense to me. Come on. I know your finger hurts because you're nonstop with your smartphone all the time. But use your pinky or use your thumb or use some other thing and just smash up the like button, will you? It's hard to stay motivated when I keep telling myself, no, the NSA is stealing all the likes, but that's not true. The truth is people just aren't really smashing up the like button the way they should. But it's like, whatever. All of this stuff, I would IRL. Don't be the fat boomer with diabetes drawing his little pop gun against. Even if they're LARPy Antifa against, thank you, Jonathan Pohl, for hitting the like button. I appreciate that. And just for that, God will reward you with a job teaching drugged out communists in Southern California. Well, whatever it is you're going to try and teach them, you know what I mean? I can imagine him jumping up in the middle. Can you imagine Jonathan Pohl goes in, he's like, all right, this is Professor Pohl, blah, 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 blah. He's going to teach African history. And Pohl starts going, blah, 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 something, the Ashanti people of Ghana, and they used to own slaves, and they had slaves, and all these like white kids whose only interaction with non-whites is that they buy weed from the black dude in the park. You know what I mean? And they're going to jump up and go, nah, you colonialist, what do you know about, what do you know about the black experience or something? And Paul's going to be going, yeah, well, I lived in Africa for 6 years, so maybe I got a little more understanding of the situation than you do. But I can imagine it happening like twice every class. Gifted children. Oh, gifted children. Yeah, they're all Chinese. Oh, that would be so based. Oh my God, that would be so based. But wait a minute. How can you? This is wildly subversive. Your wife is Kyrgyz. The Kyrgyz don't like the Chinese. You're going to be teaching the Chinese? Oh man, that is wild. Is that going to be like in Arcadia? What is that place in that city in Southern California that they call Mistress City? Have you guys ever heard of that? I think it's Arcadia, California, where every house, like a basic duplex, is like $3 million. And it's because they're all the mistresses of like high-level Communist Party officials that the Communist Party sends them to America because one, property rights are You can pass them down through generations, and they don't have that in China. Two, they want to hide their mistresses there, and there's all these Chinese women who are all driving like Maseratis and Lambos and Ferraris to the supermarket. Talk about prices in the supermarket; they don't care because all the wealth that's being stolen from China is being pumped to Southern California, to Mistress. It's called Mistress City. Jonathan Pohl, wife doesn't care as long as they get paid. My point is, you could be caught up in an international drama. Like, you have to be careful. You don't want you don't want to be accused of anti-Chinese bias or something, like, brainwashing the innocent Han Chinese into being cucks to the Kyrgyz. You know what I mean? Like, you could be like a subversive, some kind of Kyrgyz subversive thing, and then we'll see you all over the headlines. Why that would happen, I don't know. But I'm imagining that you get caught up in some big geopolitical thing, and between America and China, once Shabos Goy, Ron DeSantis, is installed in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and I don't know what is his slogan going to be? Like, what is it? I don't know. A 50-pound bag of rice in every house or something like that. It's got to be something a little bit Spanish, but not too Spanish, because 50-pound bags of rice are everywhere in America. And when I was a kid, you probably couldn't find 50 pounds of rice in one supermarket. It was all little boxes of Carolina, like half-pound boxes of Carolina rice. With no 50, you couldn't find 50 pounds in the whole supermarket. Now every place you go, 50-pound bags of rice all over the place. It's like you're walking through a hippie commune with air conditioning and elevator music. That's a modern day supermarket. And what's his name? Who's the guy? Hold on, let me scroll back here. I don't want to get his name wrong, because that would be Tweety Bird saying that supermarket shelves are empty. I don't know where the supermarket shelves are empty. Okay, in the chat, Tom Anderson, why doesn't Biden do the next round of stim checks now? I don't want to wait till the end of the year. They don't really choose that. You know what I mean? It's really, come on, the reality is, right, politics is downstream from money, and all the money flows out of the Federal Reserve. So why would the Federal Reserve and their ethnic cronies want the stimulus later in the year? I don't know. Do they want a big Christmas bonus for Wall Street? Like, because Wall Street tends to sag in August generally. It hasn't happened in the last few years, but the January and April tend to be the peaks of Wall Street for the Dow at any rate. So if the Dow dips from now through September, October, a late year stimulus, more money, more money to prop up asset prices would give a Thanksgiving and a Christmas present to Wall Street. That might be it. Because I would think that would be it. That would be my guess. I don't know if there's a better explanation for it, but that would be my guess. But and then there may be deals like being cooked up that we don't know about, that they're going to need. They're going to need to do something with. Like, there are levels above which, like, we can sort of look upwards, try to look at the meta position and guess at what they're doing. If you look at real human motivations, and if you think like them, if you think of us as rats in a maze and they're just looking down, putting a piece of cheese in this part of the maze and make all the rats run this way, and a piece of cheese in that part of the maze, make all the rats run that way. There is a rhyme and reason to what they do most of the time, but it's not all easy for us to see as we're going left, right, seeking that little bit of cheddar. It's not easy for us to see. It's easy to see 2020 hindsight, but not so easy when they're still planning it. What do we got? Zoo, is Zoo here? Tom Anderson, Zoo, are you going to hold your ETH through the end of the year or swing it for BTC? If you're smart, he'd swing it for BTC. Justin Trudeau, Tom Anderson in the chat. Justin Trudeau is a kid's ski instructor and high school drama teacher. Not exactly the stuff of legends, but none of them are. That's my point about Trump earlier. Trump, the Trump greats. Oh, he's going to do his own social media, this and that. And supposedly he was going to get on Gab, but the Kushner people went to the kid Torba that runs Gab and says, you're going to sell us X amount of the business and we're going to monetize it this way and that way and whatever. And Torba said, get stuffed. I'm not going to do that. And and then Kushner's people said, well, fuck you, die alone in an alleyway. But they don't have the technical expertise. They don't, again, these super high Ashkenazi IQs, people who are geniuses at everything. They work harder than us and they're smarter than us. They can't build a social media platform in the 6 months, was it 5 months that Trump's been out, right? Or you could assume they might have started this, at the election result. But let's say 5 months. They don't have a clue as how to get a big social media platform up and running. Anything that's interactive, they can't have, right? Because they won't be able to handle the tidal wave of complaints of all the MAGA people who are like, hey, what happened? You know what I mean? There'll be, trolls like us who are like, haha, Israel first. And then, and then the MAGA people will be like, but we loved you and why didn't you do this? And they're like, they don't want to deal with that. So they want a one-way communication, like a fundraising thing, like they're accustomed to, a 20th century thing, 21st century social media thing. They don't know how to make that work. And they're not willing to spend the money to hire curry Americans, to bring in H-1B curry Americans to monitor all these communications and not show them to Trump and make it appear one way or another. They don't know how to manipulate Alexa rankings. So if they debut the site at 100,000, it's the 10th most popular website because it's Trump, and then it drops to the 10,000th most popular website. Well, that's not good either, right? Because Trump's a winner, always a winner. So they don't know how to do any of this. You know what I mean? They can plug into like the chosen people themselves. They can plug into existing civilizations and extract value from them, whether that's Greece or Rome or any of the European kingdoms over the years, right? They go in, they find something that's already working good, they suck all the goodness out of it, it collapses, they move on, right? For them the Trump people, the people around Trump, to create something from the ground up is impossible for them. They are not creators, they are destroyers. That's what they are. You know what I mean? They refer to it as creative destruction. Oh no, this is creative destruction. They take their vile activity and then dress it up as nobility, right? We're not we're destroying an industry that's outdated. You know what I mean? The taxi business is outdated. We need Uber. You know what I mean? And what is Uber but digital slavery? You know what I mean? You have you basically have a bunch of third world rolling sweatshops. You know what I mean? Oh, we're not going to build the hospitality industry, from the ground up. We're going to create Airbnb. You know what I mean? Where you provide the house and you provide the hospitality and you provide this and you provide that, and we just skim the money off the top. They're incapable of creating something of value. They have never created anything of value, and so they have to plug into an existing structure. Facebook, right, which was supposedly Donald Trump's big key to victory in 2016, in that they identified the people who were pro-Trump, right, and what they liked, and then looked at their friends and what they liked, and then targeted the advertising to not to Trump people, but to the friends of Trump people, and to widen their circle. But Facebook already existed, right? Facebook was already up and running for a long time, and Facebook was based on a DARPA project called LifeLog, right? The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency right? They do all the super secret, you know, they did the stealth bombers and all this shit. And I'm sure they did the Predator drone and a bunch of other junk. Their people sit in front of a computer all day and they feel like I'm here in my cubicle doing my super secret, whatever job, but nobody knows who I am. I'm just a drone or whatever. And so they created a message board within DARPA where you could interact with others. You could put up the picture of your dog and your family and whatever, you know, and this improved employee morale, you know what I mean? And that they called the project LifeLog, you know, and they ran it for a number of years. And the day that LifeLog was shut off, Facebook was born. And what does Facebook do? It encourages you to share, right? I want to share with you, here's a picture of my new glasses case. Here's a picture of my new fucking nail clipper. Here's a, you know, whatever. And people like, and it appears to be interactive. You get the dopamine rush, right? This is social media. But now they've done that for all of America. Everyone, billions and billions of people, what you like, what you don't like, and they sell that information to advertisers, right? That's Facebook. The Trump people plugged into that existing network, which was set up, again, starting from a DARPA project, I think in the 80s or the 90s. So for Trump, to the return of the king, you know, the return of the king, you get the fuck out of here. How are you going to build a social media network? You know what I mean? They have to plug into something existing, but they can't have it to be genuinely interactive like Gab is with real free speech. They can't have that. They've been kicked off of Twitter, kicked off of Facebook, kicked off of everything else. So what are you going to do? You're gonna make a shitty fucking blog like it's 1994. You know what I mean? Well, a 1994 blog on the internet. Whoa, you know, you get 10 whole megabytes of server space. Big fucking deal. Trump is sinking to the bottom so fast it's not funny, but he was never what anybody thought he was. Somebody comes around him and builds them up to be whatever they are. Same thing with Ron DeSantis. I mean, it's the guys who are keeping Biden going. Jesus Christ, that's a team. That's a team of miracle workers, I think. All right, let's look in the chat again. Tweety Bird says, correction, Justin Trudeau is a part-time drama coach, full-time homosexual. That's a name, a good name for a band, part-time drama coach. Tweety Bird in the chat, indeed, Tom Anderson, but I misspoke. He was a substitute drama coach. Jesus Christ. So that's a full-time homosexual who occasionally gets, he's like a day laborer amongst the homosexual community. Tom Anderson, he's too busy hitting on the bong to make a full-time gig. Listen, Canada arresting pastors left and right. You know, they got that dude handcuffed in the middle of the fucking highway, you know, because of the COVID thing. Which, by the way, I was in a convenience store with the kid with the Holocaust meme, and then the other girl. He bought Bitcoin, and this other girl bought Bitcoin. But the kids like whatever. I told him to watch Me versus Duvid, but he's not interested. He's a dopey kid. Dominican. He's not that dopey. He's Dominican, but he's a little bit dopey. Talking with a guy who says, "Oh, I work for the Dust and Such ambulance," you know, and we're just inside the store, so I'm wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask. Blah blah blah. I'm waiting for my phone to ring. This was, I don't know, the other night, Saturday night. Anyway, so I make the assumption that you're a reasonable human being. I said, you know, we all know this is bullshit, you know. And the guy's like, oh, no, I work for whatever ambulance company, and I had 4 friends die, and blah, 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 blah. And COVID is real. I said, no, COVID's not real. I said, not the way you think it is. I said, I go to hospitals all the time. I pick up blood samples. I deliver kidneys. I'm in all kind of hospitals. Nothing's going on there. It's all nothing, you know. He said, no, I know 4 people who died. I said, how many people died of the flu this year? I said, how many people died of pneumonia? And he just walked away. Like he just walked away. Like he wanted to start with this fucking, he's going to be like the moral virtue signaler, you know. Oh, it's real. And I know 4 people who died. One, you're full of shit. You don't know 4. There aren't 4 people who are your friends in life. But when I asked a science, I love science. When I asked a science-based question like, how many people died from the flu this year? They just walk away. They will always slink away. That's probably about the only confrontation you can get away with. But if I wasn't working in the industry I'm working in, like I said, it's people sending 100 mice to Germany so they can be tested for 100 mice with dengue fever to Germany to test some fucking drug. If that wasn't happening on the regular, for me, I might give more credence to what's being said, but I just so happen to work in an industry where there's a number of things that are like headline stuff that is to most Americans, to me, it's just like boring things. Like who cares? Nobody. It's another piece. It's another piece. It's another air bill. It's another job. Like nobody cares. Like okay, move, get out of the way. I got my stuff now. And that again, that might sound very odd, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people in different parts of this country who work with stuff and they're like, this is not as big of a deal as the TV makes it out to be. But it's tough. It's tough if you're not really inside this, or you don't come into contact with it a lot. Most people are going to rely on the media, and they're going to tell you you're going to get rich on Dogecoin. You're going to get rich on whatever the fuck Taco Bell coin or whatever, and they put you. And again, as people become desperate, they're gonna do more and more crazy things, and they're gonna gamble their life savings on fucking Taco Bell coin or some shit like that. And there'll be another fucking E. coli breakout in the beef industry because they imported 2,000 people from Congo to work in the fucking meat packing industry, and they have no idea what fucking sanitary procedures are. So E. coli gets in the beef and a bunch of people die, and everywhere, Taco Bell stock plummets, and Taco Bell, the guy who was going to finally pay off his mortgage on Taco Bell coin is now, fucking homeless and living down by the river. And stories like that are going to happen more and more and more. And it's going to get crazier and crazier until, hey, Zoo, you finally showed up. Welcome to the show, Mr. Zoo. How's what you see? He's so busy mining ETH. He's actually riding an exercise bicycle to make extra electricity for the ASICs to mine even more Ethereum. Tom Anderson busting your balls. But yeah, people are gonna do crazier and crazier things until what you today call crazy 5 or 10 years from now will not seem crazy. Bruce Jenner, the wife of the mother, the husband of the mother of the prostitute woman who got peed on by a fucking rat, did a porn tape and had a black man urinate on her and became a multimillionaire because of it. Killed someone in the drunk driving accident, has phony breasts and soul, calls himself a woman. Donald Trump lets him go to New York City to use the bathroom during the election cycle, and now somehow that qualifies this fucking train wreck of a human being to be the conservative governor of California. You will not be able to follow this. And as logic becomes more alien than fucking extraterrestrial, like logic and fucking what do I want to say? A sequential fucking order of things occurring, as that becomes more and more alien, nothing will seem impossible. Like nothing will seem impossible. It'll be all so fucking crazy that you'll have no defense against it. And that's why you'll end up unable to process all these insane inputs. It is incredibly important that I'm not kidding. Like, you need to fucking exercise. You need to work up a fucking sweat. You need to sleep, boom, like your brain shuts off and you sleep without chemicals, without whatever. Every defense that there can be against this insanity, you're going to need to practice on a regular basis, because you'll get lost in it. You'll get caught up in it. There's nothing special. There's nothing special or magical about you. You can get caught up in crazy nonsense, and that's what I'm trying to point out with that pickup truck guy and this other stuff. There's nothing special guarding you or keeping your thinking from going way off the rails. Focusing on things that are real to you and keep you from behaving in an insane fashion when the rest of the world is going insane. That's going to be super critical. Cucamonga. Hey, where you been, bro? What's Cucamonga is? Oh, I think he's upset with Google. I think he's not happy with Google. Tweety Bird, gently clinking ice cubes as weapons grade ASMR. Yeah, you should try drinking some Ouzo, bro. No, don't drink Ouzo. It's terrible stuff. It's horrible. Don't drink this. It's like, it's whatever. It's an acquired taste. Zoo and Tom Anderson, the brothers in Ethereum, counting their stacks of fiat. Cucamonga saying his default notifications not working. You have to blame Google, not me. I'm going to find my Trezor and flee the great... Tom Anderson, I'm going to take my Trezor and flee the great Satan and find me a beach somewhere. Yeah, just not Vietnam. Go to Thailand. What's wrong with Thailand? The girls look exactly the same, except the girls are oftentimes boys. But you can hang out with the English bros. Like in England, English guys going to Thailand and finding out that the girl was not a girl, reaching down there and finding a little something extra. That's like a very British thing. Apparently, this is a way more common experience for limeys wandering around the old empire than you might think. Just make sure to go where the men with guns who control the prisons don't think that Bitcoin is illegal. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't want to be. I realize, Tom Anderson, you're like 6'9", 275 pounds, and you can pick these guys up and tear them in half like a sheet of paper, but there'll be 1,000 of them. You know what I mean? And eventually they will put you in a hole, and they will poke you with punji sticks and make you play a Russian roulette, like they made Robert De Niro play Russian roulette in The Deer Hunter. And then you will eventually give up your Trezor, which will give you freedom, but then you'll have to come back to America and mop the fucking floor after the dancing trannies. After the Caitlyn Jenner dancing tranny fucking show in Los Angeles, and you don't want to live that life. You know what I mean? Stay in the legal world where Bitcoin is legally accepted currency, and live with maybe a slightly less enthusiastic female sex slave. If that's, I don't want to offend your sensibilities, but maybe that might be an idea you would consider. Cucamonga in the chat. Does anyone set up a small scale home power hydro for crypto mining? That'd be an interesting concept, but I don't think that there's any, we talk about that. I remember years ago, what the fuck when I was doing the real estate thing, for like streams and rivers, each property along like that waterway is allowed a 4-inch pipe to take water in from the waterway. I don't know, because a 4-inch pipe is like, I think that's like a nationwide standard. So I don't think you're really allowed to put a water wheel in there like the old style, like, cowboy lumber mills like you saw in the old Western movies and shit. I don't think you can generate enough power from that. You know what I mean? Because there's not enough water pressure to spin the wheel fast enough, or it doesn't have enough torque or horsepower, twisting power. Because you could fuck with gearing, you could play with gearing, but if you geared an electric motor in a series of gears, you would need a large volume of water to push the water wheel. So, and I based that off the fact that I used to fuck around with different sprockets on my motorcycles to alter the RPMs at cruising speed on the highway. That's what I based that entire electro GPU theory on. Look how quick I am. Cuchilongo, I need more solar panels. My cousin said he was going to put solar panels on his fucking house years ago. He still hasn't done it. He lives in Staten Island. Zoo in the chat. At least we had 220 volt already in South Korea. Otherwise, if I was in North America, I'd have to get an electrician to set up 220 to replace the 115 home volt plug because 220 volt allows more watts. Yeah, I guess. Isn't the amperage the ultimate determiner of that? How many amps your house can take? But whatever. Tom Anson, put up windmills to mine crypto if you live out in West Texas or New Mexico. They got windmills out here, bro. They got one in Bayonne that they sometimes turn on. But those windmills are problematic. Cuchilongo in the chat. Laugh at me if you want. Okay. A good waterfall in Brazil can power a town. Yeah, I met this. I was flirting with this hot Brazilian chick in Concord, Massachusetts. I had a job up there. And where the fuck did I go? I went to Bedford, like my normal place where I go. And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, fuck it. Let me see if there's any Greek joints in the fucking area. And I drove to Concord, which is like fucking 14 miles away. So I go there, and the place is just about to close. It's like a pizzeria place. And I actually, believe it or not, what the fuck was it? I can't remember the name of it. It's in Concord. Dino's, something around Dino's Pizzeria. Probably the best food I've had in Massachusetts. You know what I mean? So I got like a pork gyro and whatever. And while I'm waiting for it to be made, it's like right before the place closes at 9 o'clock on the Saturday. There's a dark-haired Spanish chick, and I'm chatting with her. And I was like, I can't remember what I said. I said, where are you from? And she said, oh, I'm from Brazil. I said, really? I said, do you like Bolsonaro? She goes, no, I hate him. I said, yeah, I don't like him neither. You know, but because she was like cute. She was like mid-30s. To me, that's like crazy cute and young, like mid-30s is like, I don't know who's in the audience, but a 35-year-old woman is like that's like a crazy hot young broad to me because I'm 50. I'm going to be 56 this year. So like I'm flirting with her, you know, and I get the fucking mask, she's got the mask, whatever. But the owner's a Greek dude, and we're chatting back and forth. And this was literally right before Orthodox Easter. And I said, it was on a Saturday. I was up in Bedford on a Saturday. And I said, tomorrow's the big day, huh? He goes, oh, yeah, I got to work. I don't know if the preparations, this and that. And, you know, and then he has to get called in the back. And he wants to talk about Easter and Christos Anesti and Christ is risen, all this shit, you know. And so, I'm just looking this chick like up and down, like, oh man, she's like so cute, straight black hair, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, Brazil, that's not the worst idea I ever had. You know what I mean? It was like, and I said, how long you been in America? Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm chatting with her, and she's like all these females that have been in America, like less than a year, they're all like open to talking to a lot of people. I don't know what's going on. And then I happen to say, how long have you been in America? When Dino, the owner, comes back, and he's making up my food, and he's like, oh, I've been here since, and he looks and he sees me, and he's like, you know, it was that weird, awkward moment. Everybody starts fucking laughing. I just started fucking dying laughing, you know. And anyway, I got my food and I left there. It was pretty decent for Massachusetts, which has a very low flavor quotient to all the calories. There's tons of calories. You can all the calories you want in Massachusetts. I think plenty of people who are overweight, but they just don't have a whole lot of flavor. In this case, whatever, Dino's Pizzeria in Concord, if you happen to be in Concord, Massachusetts, would be a worthwhile stop. Because most places are not. What do we got going on in the chat? Zoo giving doing an AMA on 220 versus 115 or 110 volts of electricity in America. Zoo, are you in Florida? Are you in the promised land of Ron DeSantis, the Shabos Goy? You did move to Florida, did you not, Zoo? Kuchalango, 56 and born in 77. How could you be 56 and born in 77? I'm 56. I'm born in 65. Kuchalango, math is not your strong point. Math is not your strong point. You should buy Dogecoin. That's what you should do. Let's see what. Let's be a jerk. Where are we? Bitcoin right now, 59,336. So the coin is pumping. Dogecoin 54 cents. Womp womp. Ethereum 4,081. So yeah, this sideways action is not going to last forever. Like I've pointed out in the past, the 4-year cycle. I guess I should talk about that. Hold on, let's get rid of that. What in the hell? I'll get rid of that. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, let's just show this one. I like this one. Where am I? Let's just share screen because we have to. It's important for me to appear technologically dominant. It's critical to my ego. Here's the thing: you have to look closely at a lot of things, right? This needs really to be you in life, and it's a thing that social media makes very, very difficult. You know, look at things in detail as a way to understand them. Kuchalango, one, I don't know. You told me I was born in 1977. You sound like some kind of woman that I had sex with. I don't think you're a woman, but I never told you I was born in 1977. In 1977, what the fuck was I doing in 1977? And I was like 13 years old. I literally never said I was born in 1977. And by the way, you suck at math. Don't go to work for the NSA, because the NSA, which robbed me of 5.86 Bitcoin, not only did they figure out what my phone number was, and not only did they figure out what my email address was, but they also figured out what my email password was. All of this purely by fucking lucky guessing. And then they tried to steal my Bitcoin, but they failed because they had done it once before, and I had set up safe addresses. And now I have security keys, which, by the way, I mean to promote that at every instance. If you guys are not using security keys on your phones, on your laptops, or whatever, you are not secure. There's these USB devices that lock your accounts, lock your account to Google, lock your account to whatever, keep you from being magically hacked by these magical hackers. Whether you think they're Iranians or North fucking Koreans, by the way, they're not smart enough to fucking do this and also learn how to fucking read shit in English, right? So they're super hackers who can read in multiple languages, living in North Korea, eating grass soup, or in fucking 14th century Iran, some 14th century Iranian fucking mosque, and nobody can find them, right? These are the super hackers, which again, I say do not exist. It's the NSA making it appear like foreigners are attacking us, which they are not, just like the Gulf of Tonkin. Kuchalango, calling you on it, old Ouzo pot 3 shows ago. I never said I was born in 1977. No fucking way I said 1977. Yeah, I'm always in my dude, the fuck? Yeah, I'm in my fuck. The point of the show is to be in my cups. That's the whole fucking point. But I never said I was born in 1977. That's not possible. I don't remember the year 1977. I was like, something probably shitty stuff happened, but I don't remember 1977. 1976 I remember because it was the bicentennial, but I never said I was. Nobody, listen, look in the chat. Nobody in the chat's going to agree with you that I said I was born in 1977. I wish. My hair, yes, you would look at my hair and you think this guy was born in 1977, but no. I am first generation Gen X. First year Gen X or 1965. You have to look at things closely and to be able to tell what is real and what is not real, and what's going to benefit you and what's not going to benefit you. And that's going to be super hard the more digital life comes. You know what? I'm trying to be as lighthearted as I can about being robbed by the NSA, but I was robbed by the NSA. There's dudes on. There's one of those. The dude that Michael Saylor debated on gold. What's his name? Something Guida, something like that, like an Italian last name. He's like, well, if Bitcoin gets really big, then the government will attack it. The government's already attacking it, right? The America's bellicosity towards Russia and China is primarily because Russia and China are seeking to do trade without the U.S. dollar, right? When Saddam Hussein tried to trade oil without the U.S. dollar, all of a sudden, weapons of mass destruction, we went and destroyed them. When Muammar Gaddafi said he was going to trade oil with a currency backed by gold in Libya, all of a sudden, boom, Libya collapsed. Now, neither Iran nor Libya had nukes, and both Russia and China do have nukes. China has 300 nukes. Russia has 1,500, the same that we have. So we can't really fuck with them the way we can fuck with those smaller countries. But the threat to US dollar hegemony has to be countered everywhere at all times, okay? And that threat is not to America, it's to the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? Which is neither federal nor has any reserves. And they control the money, they control the politicians, they control the fucking security state entirely. The intel agencies, the military, everything. They control everything. And the planet, arguably, anything that threatens their absolute fucking control has to be crushed. So America's bellicosity towards China, towards Russia, is never going to end because China and Russia don't want to be under America's thumb. And I'm not saying it's moral or immoral. I'm saying that's the reality, right? So we're working hard to hold down these other nation states and keep other nation states in line with whatever we want, which is global homo, where it's fucking hormone blockers for your 6-year-old. It's whatever the fuck it is. And this is where Bitcoin fucking cleans their clocks, because this is where Bitcoin destroys them. Because it's decentralized, there's no one place to attack. You have other threats you're busy with, and Bitcoin will end up destroying the US dollar legally and peacefully without firing a shot. That's absolutely going to happen. You want to fuck around like Zoo and Tom Anderson, these other guys, they're making money in the casino. That's great. Listen, that's fun. That's fine. I'm not against that. But 10 years from now, do you think you're still going to be trading Ethereum? I don't know if I played the fucking video last time, but again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but Michael Saylor, who made $500 million trading tech stocks in the 90s, and who was the first man to put his money where his mouth is, right? He put his company, MicroStrategy, put $425 million into Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $11,000. And then he opened a trust and whatever. And now he controls $2 billion-ish worth of Bitcoin, about 91,000 Bitcoins he controls, either through MicroStrategy or through this fund, which he allowed other people to invest in. And then, of course, he put his own personal money in earlier than that. He put his personal money into Bitcoin at $9,000. So Michael Saylor's like the Bitcoin guru. He's the Bitcoin whatever, he's the guy. You see him on Twitter all the time. But he's the first guy who put his money where his mouth is. And this separates him. We'll talk about politics and revolution, all this shit. I don't care. Nick Fuentes, fucking Richard Spencer, fill in the blank. Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump. Put your money where your mouth is. They don't do that. They're like, oh, I'm going to ask you to empty your pockets into my fucking pocket, and then I'm going to go do something wonderful, right? And I'll just for you. That's not how it works, right? The guys who are going to change it go, you know what? This is what's going to work. This is the future. In Michael Saylor's case, he says I made $500 million in tech stocks. He said, and I cannot time the market. He said, imagine. I can't remember if I played this last week, but Saylor, there's a clip of him. He says in 2007, Steve Jobs invents the iPhone. By 2009, 2 years later, there's the Apple Store, and the Apple Store is so financially important. There's so much money to be made by getting your product into the Apple Store that it drives every bit of software. Everybody's writing now the iOS, the Apple software. They want something. They want to get in the Apple Store so they can make money. And this creates all the developers, all the creators, everything pouring into Apple. He says, now imagine it's 2011. You've seen the iPhone, which you thought was a joke in 2007. Now it's 2009. You see the Apple Store. And now it's 2011, and you see all this money and all this development and the entire focus of the software world trying to get into the Apple Store to sell you this 99-cent app or that whatever app. He says, now imagine somebody says, oh yeah, I get this. I understand the mobile web. I understand Apple and this and that. He says, I'm going to buy Apple stock. He uses ridiculous figures. He says, I'm going to buy Apple stock at $1.17 and sell it at $1.25. Right, and then buy it back at $1.17 and sell it at $2.11. He says, imagine thinking you can time the market that way in 2011. He says, and not thinking, what if I am short? What if I'm not in? What if I'm short the share of Apple at $2.11 when it goes up $100? What is the consequence of it? You think how clever you are. And this is you guys, you Ethereum guys, everybody else. You're in the casino, you're thinking, I'm going to buy ETH at this, I'm going to sell it at that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You have convinced yourself you can time the crypto market, which you have no history in, and we're just in a huge uptrend. Oh, I can't do any wrong. I can do no wrong. I buy ETH at 2,800. Now it's 4,000. I'm a genius. You're in a rising market. That's all it is. Understand this ride's going to end, and you need to get off before the ride ends. You're not a genius. You have no magical timing abilities. Nothing else in your life has ever convinced you. Didn't marry the prom queen. You know what I mean? You didn't date a porn star in college. None of that's true. But you think to yourself, oh, no. In this thing, I have magical timing. You're caught up in a tidal wave. Enjoy it while it lasts. But when it crashes at the end, where are you going to be? You have to get out before it crests. And the high, the fucking dopamine high, is going to be insane. It's going to be tough to resist. I wish you the best. I really do. But what's going to be here 10 years from now is Bitcoin. What is it going to be, like 7 Ethereums? Is it going to be, there's Ethereum Classic, there's this one, there's that one, I'm trying to suggest to you to be more mindful. All right. Enjoy the high. Enjoy it. Enjoy the high. You know what I mean? That's fine. But don't convince yourself it's going to last forever. And don't convince yourself you're a genius. You are riding a wave, and get off. Get off before the wave crashes. Look at Tom Anderson. There's space for more than one Bitcoin in the world. Well, let's create another Bitcoin, right? Ethereum is not Bitcoin. Ethereum changes its fucking rules like this whenever they want. It's split from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic to this one. Like, since when? You know, they change the gas fees. They change this. They change that whenever they want without consulting anyone. You know, it just happens. It's a centralized digital thing. And the use case for Ethereum is, well, it's going to go up. Well, that's not much of a use case, right? What is it used for? Arguably, the use case of Bitcoin is you take your dollars, which are being inflated away by central bankers, and you trade them for Bitcoin, which is limited, right? And over time goes higher. What is the use case for Ethereum? And don't take this as a personal attack. I don't know. Listen, Tom Anderson, again, I don't have like the cult of personality thing. Do I love Donald Trump? Do I love Ron DeSantis? Do I hate Joe Biden? I don't know. I don't know Vitalik Buterin. I know he looks like a skinny fucking weirdo. There's been some tweets that are bizarre. I know this. Human incentive will get people to do all sorts of fucking things. Okay? And you need to understand, what is the incentive? Why are you doing this? Okay? And what do you want to get out of it? And are you moving the goalpost along the way? Right? In these arguments back in the day, when you had, like, you know, some Jewish guy versus some non-Jewish guy, and they get on Luke Ford, and they would argue, and someone would say, well, you know, this is anti-Semitism. And you go like, well, no, it's not. It's this. And then they would move the goalpost, right? Well, you didn't prove your point. And they would move the goalpost, and you prove your point. You'd go, and they, no, but it's not this, it's not that. The constant moving of goalposts so that you're never right, you never score, I'm always right, I'm one up on you. This psychological trick and argument is annoying, right? It's deceptive and it's repulsive. But you do it to yourself. You say, well, I'm going to put X amount of my US dollars in ETH, and I want to make blank. Well, you make blank, and then you go, shit, I already did that. What if I want to make blank further? Okay. Then now you're emotionally committed to making your investment go from 3x to 7x, right? And what if it doesn't, right? You're not in control of any of this. The difference between Bitcoin maximalists, and I consider myself one of them, is we take I drive boxes. I drove boxes today, drove boxes last week. I'm going to drive boxes next week. The US dollars I get, I know, are being inflated away. Zero interest rates, straight up stimulus. Inflation is eating the purchasing power of my labor. So what I do, instead of holding green pieces of paper, I trade them for Bitcoin, which has done nothing but good for me in the last, even since I got fucked by the NSA from October of last year. Right? October of last year, I'm buying Bitcoin at $10,000. It's at $59,000. Is that not good enough? Is that not good enough? I'm up almost fucking 600%. I was buying at 10.7 or 11, 12, 13. Is that not good enough? Have I not outpaced inflation? I think I have, right? Now, do I wish for more? Do I wish I was not having to fucking drive again? Would I like to fucking just buy motorcycles and race down fucking mountain roads forever and shoot guns? Yeah, but I'm not there, man. And I was much closer to that before I got fucked on October 12th. But this is what it is. I can't, what I'm doing works, okay? You're buying and selling an ETH, you're doing this and that. And again, this is the year for you to do that. But next year, 2 years, 5 years out, 10 years out, what's it going to look like for you? Everyone says, oh, if you bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, right, in 2011, if you had bought $500 worth of Bitcoin, you'd have how many $1 million? Yeah, because Bitcoin has constantly gone up, but Ethereum hasn't done that. Dogecoin doesn't have that fucking history. Again, you're in a casino, you're playing, it's fun, it's crazy high. There's fucking numbers going, like, enjoy it while it lasts, but it's not going to last past this year. There's going to be a crash, and you don't want to be holding a fucking bag of stupid fucking whatever. Bitcoin crashes upwards. That's its history from the inception. It came from zero and is now worth $1 trillion. What the fuck is Ethereum? Who, like, think it through. Again, you're as hot, you're imagining, I'm going to have girls, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to live in Vietnam, I'm going to be in the beach, and the people, I'm going to be eating shrimp from a fucking whatever. I don't even want to know how you're going to be eating the shrimp in Vietnam, but do you know what I mean? That's fine. And maybe you'll do that. Maybe you really will do that, but you need to cash out to do that. You know what I mean? And if your purpose of doing crypto is to cash out for a bag of US dollars, which Joe Biden is going to degrade, and when Ron DeSantis becomes president, is going to degrade because Joe Biden is not in control, and Ron DeSantis is not in control, and Donald Trump was not in control, and George Bush was not in control. The central bankers are in control. My worldview is I don't want to live in their fucking world. I want to destroy their world. And I want something that they don't control and they can't stop. So that's why I want Bitcoin. I'm not thinking I'm going to buy this thing and then sell this thing and get a big bag of fucking dollars and drive a Lamborghini and snort cocaine out of a supermodel's ass crack. I'm not thinking that, I say that, but I say that ironically. I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do that. So what do you think you're going to do? And how are you going to get there? And if it largely involves other people buying your shitty crypto coin and you getting out before, you somehow magically timing the market, I don't know how you time the market, but through some metric you can't describe or understand, just a gut feeling, and you're gonna end up in a fucking mansion, like fucking Elmer J. Fudd, right? My name is Elmer J. Fudd. I'm a millionaire. I own a mansion and a yacht. You think that's going to be you? Okay. But you're more likely to end up wondering what the fuck happened when somebody in Russia or on the other side of the world or Vitalik Buterin decides to fucking pull the rug from underneath you and all your gains go in a moment. Like the Dogecoin kids. On Friday, it was 75 cents. Saturday Night Live, the big fucking debut, it's 40 cents. Oh, well, you just lost 50%. So think that through. Bitcoin, that doesn't happen for any length of time. Bitcoin, it's crashed, but it's fucking skyrocketed afterwards. And nothing else has that history. Think it through. Think it through, Tom Anderson. And by the way, when you get to Thailand and you meet the girl of your dreams, make sure she doesn't have a package bigger than yours. Zoo, the big crypto traders are all optimistic about these. Yeah, they should be for at least a fucking year. Vitalik is a billionaire. So Vitalik, okay, Tom Ensign, Vitalik is a billionaire. I'm rich, so that means I'm morally good, and you can trust me with your life savings. Didn't Donald Trump make that fucking? Wasn't he a billionaire? Michael Bloomberg, who wants to take away your Second Amendment rights, isn't he a billionaire? Right? Elon Musk, who just flopped on Saturday Night Live, isn't he a billionaire? I'm a billionaire. Okay, good for you. Great, it's wonderful. God bless. You're a billionaire. What does that mean? I can trust you? That means you'll never lie to me? Well, what does that mean? You know, I'm right-handed and I have brown eyes and fucking brown hair. That makes me the same as 90% of the planet Earth. Of the fucking 90% of the planet Earth, people in the planet Earth, you ever heard anybody talk like me? The fuck out of here. You know, here's one bizarre fucking random fact. Draw from that what conclusion? What conclusion will you draw from that? What conclusion will you draw from that? Now, Tom Ensign goes back to JP Morgan, buy the rumor, sell the news. If you think Wall Street is corrupt, wait till you find out crypto. Wait till you find out the world of crypto. It's beyond Wall Street. It's Wall Street on steroids. It's Wall Street at digital speeds. That's my point. Will ETH go up this year? Sure it will. Will it go from 4 to 6,000? Sure it will. But Ethereum, okay. Tom Anderson specifically, Tom Anderson and Zoo in the chat. You ever see that German kid, Crypto? You know what I'm talking about? The kid, he's a German kid. He's like, today for the Bitcoin prize, blah, 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 blah. He's like a crazy German kid who now lives in Dubai. And he has his YouTube channel's got 375,000 subscribers, right? He's a huge Bitcoin bull. And he said, listen, Bitcoin's going to break out because Ethereum, which has been on a downward slope for 3 years, and there's all this stuff, this technical analysis with charts and chart patterns and resistance lines and support lines, whatever. Pardon me. German kid, like late 20s. Chris from Crypto. In fact, what's his name? Saylor did an interview with him a few months back. He's quite a character. At any rate, he points out that Ethereum has been going down for 3 fucking years, whereas Bitcoin has not been going down for 3 years. 3 years ago, Bitcoin was way cheaper, wasn't it? And he says, well, this chart means this, and this when Bitcoin breaks out, when Ethereum breaks out, it leads Bitcoin to blah, 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 whatever. He tries to make connections between this thing and that thing. But if you know Chris from Crypto, and there's a million phony Crypto accounts on Twitter that pretend to be him, these scam accounts. He does show the historic price action of these two commodities. Why has Ethereum been going down for 3 fucking years? And did they change something like this with Ethereum and now it's going up? Okay, enjoy the ride. But nothing has changed in Bitcoin for 3 years, but it's just been going up. Again, you're going to trade crypto, you're going to time the market, you know this, you know that. Who do you know? Do you know Vitalik Buterin? Do you know Ethereum? Who fucking makes the decisions? Do you know any of this shit? No. You just think, oh, I'm magic today. I'm Tom Anderson. I'm going to bang Vietnamese girls on the beach while drinking espresso and smoking cigarettes. Maybe you will. I don't know. If you time it right. But most people, all gamblers die broke, right? Every gambler dies broke. I'm telling people not to gamble. I'm telling people to take their ever weakening US dollars and to trade them for ever strengthening Bitcoin. And that this is the most logical, safest, strategy for surviving the fucking economic collapse that's coming. I don't know how much money you have in this. You got 1,000, 10,000, 100,000? How the fuck do I know? Is it real profit? Is it real money? Is it like, I don't fucking know. Like I said, my point, peacefully, legally, is to destroy the Federal Reserve Corporation of America. And I believe the best weapon to do that is to make people throw away their dollars, which are weakening due to government policy, and hold on to Bitcoin, which is strengthening, like the stock market is strengthening, like real estate is strengthening, etc. Because as the dollar gets weaker, everything that is not dollars gets stronger. So, like I said, my goal in life is I believe that the U.S. Federal Reserve is, if you want to look at it religiously, you want to put on your God goggles, is run by the children of Satan, right? The central bankers are the children of Satan, and they control the world via money. And what we need to do, to get closer to God, is to get away from Satan dollars and go towards godly Bitcoin. If that's your worldview, I'm with you, bro. If you see this desert tribe as a parasitical group which has managed to dominate the Western world and most of the world through usury and debt slavery, and you find that offensive to you because you are a Nord, a Med, a fucking Celt, or I don't give a fuck what you are, and you just want to throw off their control, I'm with you, bro. Okay? Because their control is not because anyone loves, like, no one thinks, oh, thank God. Oh, thank you. Thank heaven. I was born to be a slave to Jews. Like, I was born to draw water and hew wood while they sit and they eat as Effendi. And they can slaughter me at any time if I upset them. They can chop my head off. I don't know anyone who wants to live that way. I don't know anyone who thinks, well, that's a great fucking thing. Or thank God. Oh boy, am I lucky. I don't know anyone who thinks that way. So I would say this. Their system of control, which is financial, is to our detriment. Everyone who's not Jewish, detriment. So if we can engage, if we can participate in a system of value, exchanging value, of monetary value, that they do not control and they cannot stop, that is an unalloyed good. That is good from top to bottom in every way. There is no way it is not good. So I want to do that myself, and I want to encourage others to do that. Whether they have a religious point of view or a political point of view or a historical point of view, I don't care what your point of view is. I literally do not care what your ideology is. What I care about is your participation in this system, which is permissionless and unstoppable. What I believe personally is that the type of values I would like to see will eventually prevail. But we're not there yet. We're not even close. The real terrible fighting is gonna come in the future when the current system really fucking collapses. It's going to be good for those of us who hold Bitcoin. For those of you who don't, the best of luck. Best of luck. Okay? You're going to time the market. You're going to go live in a fucking St. Barth's, whatever, beach house. I don't know what the fuck you think you're going to do. You're not as good as you think you are. Trump is not what he says he is. DeSantis is not what he appears to be. None of this. That's why you need to fucking focus on what's real. And it's very, very hard as you get more and more separated from real people and you consume more and more digital media, living in a feedback loop. Very, very, very hard. Very hard. And most of you are not good at very hard. Cuchalongo. Oh, now all of a sudden you're on my side again. You're not accusing me of being born in 1977, are you? Fucking 1977. I am the king. I am totally the king. I'm not a king. What the fuck? Who's further from a king than me? Jesus Christ on the cross. Anyway, this is fucking. This was going to be like a 30-minute stream. I'm looking at the. I don't know if you can see this. You can't see this. 2 hours, 13 minutes. Fucking Uzo stream. Fucking Uzo. It is the devil's Kool-Aid. It's not really the devil's Kool-Aid. It's a lion's milk. But honestly, I've said this before. What other message do I have? My goal is to get as many people as I can out of the hyperinflationary US dollar into what I believe with all my heart and soul is the future, which is Bitcoin. My future, dude, I'm fucking going to be 56 this year. My future is relatively short, but I have some idea of what having everything taken away from you feels like on more than one occasion. Like I said, my father was mentally ill. I was in a fucking orphanage when I was a kid. It was like just a bunch of really crap things happened to me. Mostly it sort of worked out as much as you think it could work out, but it doesn't work out for most people, right? And it's not because I love Jesus or I was super ideological or whatever. A lot of this is luck. And what I've discovered from dealing with people in the ghetto and getting stuck up and shot at and having to interact with a lot of people I didn't want to interact with is that you want to minimize the luck aspect and maximize the fucking guaranteed outcome aspect as close as you can get. So to do this in a way that is not immoral is difficult. Most people would crawl over their dying mothers to fuck their own sisters. That's a reality, right? That's a line from a great movie called the fucking Nick Nolte movie. What a great movie with Nick Nolte. I can't remember the name of it. I'll remember it later. But most people are fucking completely horrible. This is what you have to understand. This is real incentive. This is real motivation. And when you pretend you don't see that and you go, oh no, we have to be tribal. We have to worry about skin color. Listen, I've been in rooms full of black people when some fucking dumbass fucking dindu goes, yo, my brother's this and that. And you see like he's a bullshit artist and a hustler. Every black person in the room knows it. And he's just going, yo, my brothers. And he's just like, yo, what's up? And they look at him like, oh, you know what? These guys are like, fuck this shit. You know what? I got to go check the oil in my truck. And they just walk. They don't want to hear the yo, my brother shit because they know it's a fucking hustle. They've heard that hustle 1,000 times in their lives. And they know it's all bullshit. When you're outside that, you don't see that. You're like, oh, well, they're all together because of skin color. That's fucking nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. I did this black woman told me she was married, which is like winning the lottery for a black woman. She's married, like in a church, has a husband, come pick her up after work every night, blah, 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 blah. And she says, when my husband and I, she told me one time, when my husband and I are driving in the car, and we stop at a red light in Newark or Irvington or one of these shitty fucking neighborhoods, and some crackhead starts walking towards a car, her husband says, "Get the fuck away from my fucking car, I'll kill you." Like he's like hostile in a way that white people like wouldn't be comfortable. And the crackhead thinks, "Oh shit, like I'm black, you're black. This motherfucker's gonna kill me if I go near his Nissan Pathfinder, whatever fucking kind of car he had." I don't even give a shit. But the level of hostility and immediate, like it's not. If I did that, you'd go, "Oh, you're racist." But I do that. I'm like, "Motherfucker, I will fucking drop you. I'll fucking run you over. Get the fuck away from my car." And they look at me like, no, white people don't really mean it. And they go, wait, maybe this guy means it, you know? And they go shuffle with their fucking paper cup somewhere down the fucking line. But if you don't have that experience, not once, twice, it's like 47 times you have to do this. You have to make it fucking stick. You have to make it stick. You have to think, if this cocksucker rubs that fucking oily fucking rag on your windshield, you're going to get out and fucking knock the one tooth that he still has left from smoking crack. You're going to knock that one tooth down his fucking throat. And when they see that, they're like, you know what? I'll go to the next car because there's probably some dopey liberal in there who's going to give me $37 because because I have darker skin than him. I didn't choose to be born this way. You didn't choose to be born the way you were born, right? All we get to choose is how we behave and what we do in life. So I'm not going to feel guilty about anything. And I'm not going to let you fuck with me. Not going to happen. But too many people, they get caught up in all kinds of stupid shit in their heads, like illusion after illusion. And it's for me or anyone like me to try and pull that away from people is impossible. I exhaust myself and I end up looking like the bad guy, and you stay just as dumb, pardon me, at the end of it as you started at the beginning of it. In fact, you're worse. You feel morally superior. But I assure you, I am way friendlier and better friends with those people you think I fucking hate than you know. Because I'm around them all the time. I deal with them all the fucking time. They are chill with me in a way they could never be chill. Because listen, I never pretend not to be a 55-year-old white guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, yo, what's up, LeBron? Yo, that's chill. Fuck you. I don't fucking understand that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Go fuck yourself. Go throw a ball in the hoop. Give a fuck. I want to launch a rocket to the moon. I want to fucking split the atom. I don't want to like throw a ball into a hoop. And I don't pretend to be otherwise. And this is a key thing that these dopey fucks on the internet don't understand. Be who the fuck you are. They may not like you, but they will respect you if you're strong. If you're weak, they're going to beat the fuck out of you. But if you're strong, they'll respect you. They will respect you because they respect strength. They don't respect what you consider virtue or purity. They don't respect that. They don't. So when I tell people, and I don't get through to everybody. Listen, I talk to like fucking maybe a dozen people in a day. How many do I get through to? Maybe 2. Like it's a very low percentage. But I want to get across to you that the people who control the U.S. economy, which is the world economy, the United States dollar is the world reserve currency, are evil. Whether you think it's because they're Jewish or because they're just rich or because they went to Harvard, or I don't give a fuck why. And their goal is a world of perfect slaves that never talk back to them, that wear the fucking mask or whatever the fuck they're like, and that you were not born to this. I don't know what you were born to. I don't know your destiny. I don't know. I really don't know you that well. I don't know you that well. But this I know for sure. You were probably not born to be a slave. Whatever your destiny is, and I don't know what it is, it's not to be a slave to some fucking cunt central banker whose name is Goldstein or Greenblatt or fucking Yellen or Bernanke or whatever. Right? Not why you were put on this planet Earth. And so, anything I can do to convince anybody, whether they get the same skin color as me or a different skin color as me, the same culture or different culture, whatever, I want to remove power from the central bankers legally, peacefully, and replace it with a sovereignty. That's what I want to do. And that's my whole fucking focus. Ever since October 12th, 2020, now I understand what my purpose in life is. And I work to subvert the US dollar system every fucking day. Tom Anderson, Kuchalango, Zoo. You want to play fucking Dogecoin versus Zcoin versus Monero versus... Play as much as you want to play. But I'm not joking. I want to destroy the Federal fucking Reserve Corporation of America. I'm not fucking joking. And so that's what I look to do. I try not to look like a crazy loon, like I do here now, like, 10, well, not 10 Uzos, like 4 Uzos. And I try not to look like a fucking whack job. And I don't when I'm sober. And I look to find people who, even though they have a different worldview than I have, I want to try to connect them to ideas of freedom and sovereignty. What will that lead to? I don't fucking know. I'm not fucking Nostradamus. I don't have the fucking, I have a fucking pair of glasses. I don't have a fucking crystal ball. You know what I mean? I don't know what the future looks like. But I'm betting on us, and I'm betting on fucking them. And my worldview is forward-looking and real incentive, like real human incentive based. So yeah, we're legally in due process in Minecraft. All right, listen, hold on. I'm going 2 hours and 25 minutes. I'm going to BRB. I'm going to BRB. Mentally play music in your heads. I'll be right back. All right. I am. What the fuck is going on? Everybody in the fucking chat going crazy. Don't relax. Dude, you have no idea. Impressive bounce back on NSA Steel. Yeah. You know why? Because I've had everything taken from me before. Like I said, my father was mentally ill. I was in an orphanage when I was a kid, like 5, 6 years old. So was my sister, and so was my brother. So to have your entire life as you understood it ripped away from you when you're very young, is you can say, oh, it's a trauma, this and that. Okay, listen. The place I was in when I say it was a straight place, there was nothing fucking happened to nobody that I was aware of. Nothing happened to me, right? Most of the kids in there were black or Hispanic. A few white kids. They told us, because we would comfort ourselves during an alien environment. I went on other streams, brought into this facility, like by the police, separated from my sister. She was on the girls' part. I was obviously in the boys' part. They make you strip in a room and bathe in front of them, and I was crying and begging and doing all stuff they make you, if you don't do it, they're gonna do it to you. They're gonna strip you. It sucks. I was like 5 years old at the time. Just started first grade. And then they put you in this big dorm room with you don't even know how fucking big the room is, and some random fucking bed that it turned out was fucked up. It was dark. It was already after hours when I arrived at the facility. So the kid that was in the bed that they thought was empty was afraid. So he took the pillow and slept. He got underneath the bed. It was the beds were 2 feet off the floor. And they put me in the bed because it was empty. They didn't know the fuck where anybody is. And I'm like, there's no pillow. I was a kid. I was like, it was the balls I had. I was like, there's no pillow. I was like, there's no pillow. They're like, oh, hold on, we'll get you a pillow. They're trying to do this without waking up 75 fucking kids on this fucking floor. And of course, it's failing, right? Because most of the kids, half of these kids are not asleep anyway. And they finally find me a pillow, and then there's a fucking noise underneath the fucking bed. And it's a kid who they had put in the bed 3 hours before, who was now fucking freaking out because something's happened above him. Fucking disaster. And they moved me to they found another bed that nobody was hiding underneath. And they put me in that bed like a fucking, oh my God, fucking horror show. And I'm laying there in this big fucking room. They finally, after I get done in the shower in somebody else's fucking pajamas, fucking 5 years old. And it's I'm not really scared. I'm a little bit scared, but honest to God, I wasn't that scared until all the lights go off and I hear all these other kids around. It's a big fucking room. It's a huge fucking room. All these kids fucking crying and moaning in the middle of the night, and that fucking terrified me. This shit fucking sucks on levels you can't fucking imagine. But it happened, this was 50 fucking, at this point, 51 fucking years ago for me, or 50 years ago. Literally 5 decades ago for me. And then you have to fucking wear the clothes that they tell you to wear and eat when they tell you to eat, sit where they fucking tell you. It's like being in fucking prison when you were a kid. I talked to a guy who was in prison. I told him about it. He goes, you were in jail when you were a kid. He said, you just didn't know it. This guy, Anthony, Anthony, I won't say his last name, Anthony, who was in MCC, Manhattan Correctional Center, with the acid killer. There was actually a guy in Brooklyn named the Acid Killer. And he didn't kill people, but he would take the bodies that mob guys killed and he would dissolve them in sulfuric acid. He would cut the bodies up and dissolve them in fucking vats of sulfuric acid in Brooklyn. So, and I was talking to Anthony, and because his brother was in the taxi business, and Anthony was just got out of prison not that long ago. And he was like, I was like, Papa. He was like, you were in prison when you were a kid. I'm like, huh, what? He said, yeah, it's the same thing in fucking prison. I'm like, what? Like it was, I couldn't wrap my head around it. And then I would talk to him, and he says, yeah, I used to every afternoon in MCC, I would play cards with the acid killer. I said, Anthony, what? Anthony, what? He said, yeah, the acid killer, me and him would play cards, and a couple of the guys would play cards every afternoon at MCC, Manhattan Correctional Center. And I was like, Anthony, normal people don't say sentences like that. He goes, no, you don't know him the way I do. He's the nicest guy. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, how do you have conversations like this? How is this a real conversation? But man, I've had conversations with some very strange people. I've had experiences exponentially weirder and sicker than anything I've ever been through. But when I was a kid, yeah, I had a mentally impairment. My father was institutionalized. Family was broken up. It was an orphanage. Then we got back together. No happy ending. No fucking happy ending. The chaos and a bunch of other stuff continued on and on for some years. So what I try to convey to people, maybe, and I don't know how well it comes across on the internet, but I've had experiences you've only seen on fucking in the movies, and it's not like you see in the movies. And so what you consider insane and outrageous and abnormal, it's like, yeah, to me, it's like, yeah. And to people, when I talk about Black people and brown people, ghetto people, the insanities of street life, that to me seems much more normal. I'm not saying it's good or right. It's not good and it's not right, but it's closer. It doesn't break my limit of, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm like, all right, that's happening. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what's happening now. Whereas if all you've ever done is seen shit in TV and the movies, and you live in the fucking suburbs, you think like, dude, it's not like TV. It's not like fucking TV. It really isn't. And your ability to manage that, to get through that, to get on top of that is zero, basically, if you haven't been in it. Like Elon Musk. Elon Musk can't go on Saturday Night Live and be like, hey, Dogecoin to the moon, and like be funny. It's not going to work, right? It's like I know he's the smartest man in the world of rockets and the toy cars and whatever, but sketch comedy or being funny, you have to suck at being funny before you get to be like, you can't just walk into like, hey, I'm not funny, but today I'm funny. Rich people think that can happen. Elon Musk is the second richest or the first richest man on the planet Earth. So he thinks it could just happen, except that's not the way it works, right? If you first time you try something, you're probably going to suck at it. You're not going to be very good at it. Some parts you might get, some parts you're not going to get. Some you're going to be strong at, some you're going to be weak at, some you're going to instantly understand, other things are going to be a mystery. Even if you're the second richest or the first richest man in the world. So, everyone thinking this is a momentous thing, that the richest man in the world who sends rockets to Mars, or they think it's going to someday go to Mars, and sells electric cars, like he's going to be super funny, and it's not going to work, like, and all these dopey, like, whoever the shoe shine boys or the child molesters are going to protest, so they're not going to do the show. Whatever, fuck it. The fantasy that you have, like timing the market, I'm going to buy ETH at X, and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy the absolute bottom. I'm going to sell it to tippy top. I'm going to be 100% satisfied. I'm going to be 100% satisfied. Do you really think you can do that? When in your life have you ever done anything similar? Never. You suck. Basically, you suck. But no. Ethereum is going to give you the chance. You're going to buy the absolute bottom. This is where you're going to buy. This is the tippy top up here. This is where we're going to sell. Not going to sell here or here or here. Are you fucking kidding me? You suddenly became a magical market genius in a market that exists since 2009, and you weren't even paying attention. Really, bro? Buy Bitcoin. Keep all your money in Bitcoin. Do you want to play in the casino? Play with money you can afford to lose. Like I said 2 hours ago, pardon me, 2 hours ago, a bunch of warehouse guys in the Falcon Jet, they were like, hey, buy Dogecoin, what the fuck, bro? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. And I said, oh, Gemini allows you to buy Dogecoin, so I bought $40 worth of 40 bucks worth of Dogecoin. So that's like 3 lunches to me. Like three stops for lunch. You know what I mean? It's like it's not that, if Dogecoin goes to 0, I lost 40 bucks. I did it because these guys I'm friends with, and they're busting my balls. And so that's that. I think I lost whatever, $12 at this point. Somehow I'll fucking live with that. Understanding real human motivation, real human incentive, you don't. You think it's ideological. You think it's skin-based. You think it's this and that. It's none of those fucking things. Trying to convince people that they have been conned is very difficult. So I don't do that. I don't waste that much energy. I'll just chill. I'm going to fucking have a fucking Ouzo stream. I'm going to, listen, I'm not driving my car. I'm not handling real guns, even though I own real guns. I have pretend practice laser guns that I fuck with if I need to finger fuck something. Because let's face it, ammo is ridiculously expensive these days. But I'm going to tell you to protect yourself and those you love and care about. And the way you do that is by getting rid of your US dollars and buying Bitcoin. And the reasons why are, if you studied Bitcoin for 2 seconds, well, not 2 seconds, a little bit, you'll understand. And I don't care whether your understanding comes from the dollar is controlled by the children of the devil, or it's central banker greed, or it's some other thing. I don't ideologically care why you do what I suggest you do, but I want you to do it. I want to convince you to do it. Why? Because I make money off it? No. But I know what it's like to have everything taken away from you and you don't. And when that happens, when you're fucking insane and you don't know what to fucking do next, and you're like your fucking brain is banging around inside your head. You haven't experienced that. And the first time you experience it, it's not going to be good. And you're not going to make the perfect right choice. That's my point. Elon Musk, with all this money and everything, did not make the perfect right choice doing Saturday Night Live. It was a fucking bomb, this show. And he's super intelligent and super rich and super this and super this and super that. And you're none of those things that Elon Musk is. So when it all collapses on you, and it will collapse, because Joe Biden will do what the Federal Reserve tells him to do, what his economic advisors tell him to do: more stimulus, more money, more money, more money, $600 plywood, $900 plywood, $1,200 plywood. Housing starts fall. Why? Because you can't buy plywood. Why? Because plywood that used to be $75 is now $1,200 for plywood, which is wood chips and fucking resin mixed together. It's not even a fucking full sheet of wood like it used to be. It's wood chips and glue flattened and fucking, right? Flattened and heated. $1,200. What does that add to the price of a house? It used to be $75 plywood. Now it's $1,200 plywood. You get the money to pay for that? Driving for Uber? Right? You're driving for Uber? What do you have to do to afford that house? How many houses like that in your neighborhood? Who can afford that? Will they import more H-1B visa people from India to buy houses like that? Or China or wherever? And when you realize the only people that can afford the fucking houses made with $1,200 plywood, it's $1,200 plywood, are fucking curry munchers or chopstick jockeys. What? What will the fucking Native Americans do? The white ones and the black ones, what will they fucking do? What kind of recipe is this? Is this a recipe for peace and harmony or real fucking problems? Kuchalonga, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm looking here. Blah, 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 blah. How much have I ever paid for someone to watch your car for half an hour? Nobody watches my car. I have the shittiest car in the world. You wouldn't fucking steal my car if your life depends on it. Jonathan Pohl, the Turks. The Turks are fucked. They have decided to mess with Israel's natural gas money, and they are well and truly fucked. Forget the Turks. What are we doing? I want to talk about something. Minecraft. Show me all the comments. Kuchalonga going crazy. Kuchalonga wigging out in the fucking chat. You can send BTC over shortwave radio. Yes, I've covered that in past streams. Want to hear the James Pohl origin story? I don't know. Listen, I was sitting there by Dunkin' Donuts in what the fuck was it? By Teterboro. Why is this showing up here? This should not show. And there was like a multi-stream thing with 4 dudes talking about blah 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 blah. What's the fall of Rome? Fucking somebody refresh me. Gnosticism. Fuck, that came deep from inside my head. They were talking about Gnosticism and whatever, and it ended up me talking to fucking what's his name? He calls himself Texas Feral Hog now. Donald Robertson. He was like, I watched the entire, what the fuck was his name? George Zimmerman trial on TV and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, George Zimmerman was like half a Jew, half a Peruvian. I work with Peruvians. They're not that tall. I'm 5'10". Peruvians are like 5'6". No, and they're jacked on milk and fucking everything else. And Zimmerman's like chasing some black kid, some athletic black kid. He's a fat half a Jew, half a Peruvian, chasing some black kid in the dark with a fucking cheap ass fucking high point pistol or something. Not a high point though, fucking something else almost as cheap as a high point. And he gets knocked to his ass, beat down, and he manages to fucking get his gun out and he shoots the kid. Rightly so. But this was like, I'm talking with this guy from Texas endlessly about this fucking thing. Holy crap, what am I doing to my screen? I'm looking at myself full screen. I don't need to see this. I do not need to see this. Okay, exit full screen. That one. I don't need to see myself that big ever. Why am I still seeing that? Oh, this fucking sucks. Anyway, so I'm on poll stream and whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a smart guy. He's speaking honestly about history and whatever. And I started going on the show. I can't remember where he used to do an open mic thing. Like, it's just send me an email and I'll let you go on. I never go on, and I'd fucking hold my phone in my hand like this all over the place. While sitting in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot within spitting distance of Teterboro Airport, where Jeffrey Epstein took all his sex slaves off to the fucking Caribbean. Teterboro has a lot of private jets. That's a big spot in New York. More so than the big New York airports. Anyway, I just started going on there, and me being me, whatever, the Polls channel went from 75 subscribers to 775 subscribers. And I knew, to be honest, I know I'm a fucking mental case, right? I know I'm like 3/4 of a mental case. I know I talk too fast. I know I can go, I know I can overpower a lot of people. And I would in early times I was streaming, I was like, don't say this, bite your tongue. Like, I don't know. And the people would be like, well, the earth is flat and blah, blah. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. You know what I mean? And so whatever. But so I used to go to the poll channel a lot. And I still go on there. I was on there a couple of weeks ago. But at the end of the day, I'm always interested in hearing history, right? I'm Greek. History is long for us. So it's an interesting subject for us. Not only our history, but other histories, and what's going on. I want to know. I want to hear what people have to say. And so I ended up becoming a whatever thing. And then the real thing, and we can't, this is like a halfway sandwich, I think, to talk about. There was Brundlefly, Richard Spencer, Duvid, this is a whole crew. And they were doing this with Luke Ford. I was in the furthest orbit of that. And Duvid, who thought of himself as the fucking Hebrew He-Man, he was going to battle. Oh man, he was going to beat up every fucking anti-Semite on the internet. The fuck Brundlefly thought he was going to do with this, going to ride it to fucking fame or whatever. And so Duvid, who used to be in these circles, Paul must have sent out an invitation to him. I'm sitting in a fucking cell phone parking lot in Newark Airport, and Duvid, who's trying to get me, he's seen me and he wants to fucking debate me about shit. He wants to fucking go. He wants to have a go. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, I hope I get a good drive job to fucking Delaware, so I can make money today. And Duvid comes on, and I'm in his parking lot. And I remember, this was the full parking lot. This was I don't know, 20 or 30 cars there in May of, I don't know what fucking year it was. March or April. I don't know, it was March maybe. Anyway, Duvid wants to fuck with me. Bad fucking idea. You think because I sound like a retard, I'm a retard. Wrong. Wrong conclusion. I know I sound like a retard. I get that. I sound like, what is it going, Jimmy Bag of Crypto? That was one of the best fucking one of the best tags for me ever. Jimmy Bagger Crypto. Like, too funny. But whatever. So Duvid thinks, because Duvid is like some fucking Midwestern Jew whose he got a job from his mother, who's a lawyer, that helps illegal immigrants get money from the American taxpayer. And he went to, what's the name of the university? The fuck is it? Columbia? Columbia? Is it Columbia? Yeah, whatever. And he came to Columbia U in New York and studied psychology with the only female student of Sigmund Freud ever. So he's trying to say he's like 2 steps from Sigmund Freud, whatever, at Columbia U. And I'm some dude sitting in the fucking 2004 Toyota Matrix, waiting for a drive job, waiting to pick up a cardboard box to go from New Jersey to fucking Virginia. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight this anti-Semite," and I fucking destroy him. Like, literally, it's fucking legendary. It's like legendary. It's on my BitChute channel. If you know what my BitChute channel is, if you go on BitChute and you just type in these 2 words, Athens space VS Jerusalem, you'll see the stream. It's about 84 minutes total. You can skip the first 20 minutes easily. And then it's funny as fuck. It's crazy hilarious. It's funny. I was 100% me. And whatever, I became like a fucking star on the alt-right, on the far right. But whatever. So that's like the origin story. You know what I mean? Like, and then I broke out with that. And then I got clipped on all these different fucking YouTube channels. Why? Because I'm 3/4 of the maniac. Like, I'm the maniac you think I am from watching this video. It's not nearly as crazy as I am in real life. Kuchalango. Oh, yeah. Tom Henn said, buy a house with ETH. Yeah, buy a house in Vietnam. Tom Henn said, Donald Robinson, King Boomer. Donald Robinson, everything wrong with Texas. Although nobody, I swear to God, I've lost every respect I ever had for Texas. All right, in the chat at 2:01, I'm going 3 fucking hours again. 3 hours. Well, there's a little bit of ouzo left in the bottle. Might as well go further. Zoo in the chat. Cardano is trying to save Ethiopian kids. Cardano is not trying to save Ethiopian kids, Zoo. Cardano is virtue signaling for you to give them all their money so they can cash out and pull the rug from underneath you. And Ethiopian kids are not going to get a fucking thing. Come on, son. Come on. Zoo, you're supposed to be my garlic breath Korean soul brother. Don't do that. Kuchalango, done did good. Yeah, listen, whatever. Part of the reason why I'm not going Paul's show is mostly it's very oriented towards the past, and I'm oriented towards the future. Now, there are some things from 100 years ago which vaguely sort of echo what's happening today. The most important of which are hyperinflation and then the insanity that will grow from that. The difference between 2021 America, 2021 Weimar Germany, is we are a multicultural society. There's a lot more guns in America. There are differences. The people are in charge of the same people, doing the same things for the same reasons, because they're genetically compulsed to do that. And what I would like to do is be smarter than those persons 100 years ago. And within this limited platform, and this is a very, very limited platform, try to get across the idea that you don't get caught up in the macro trends, this big trend of lunacy, of BLM, of ANTIFA, or whatever. Reject that entirely. Reject that. Think longer term, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Think of your children, think of your grandchildren. And when you're thinking about that, what freedom means, it doesn't mean being rich, being fat and stupid and sitting by the fucking swimming pool. That's not what it means. But it does mean sovereignty. It means the idea that no one can stop you from buying or selling or creating value or doing whatever. Okay. And if you put your faith in a government, and all these governments are controlled by central banks, and you may think all the central banks are controlled by the Rothschilds and their in-laws, or you may think it just happens to be a coincidence that all the central banks make the same decisions at the same times in the same way. I don't care how you think of it. I don't care. You may think that Bitcoin is a gift from heaven, that Jesus Christ himself has blessed this and has allowed this to come into the mind of man so that we can overcome the Pharisees, the children of the devil, whom control the buying and the selling and whatever, and the mark of the beast, and that we can overcome this with Bitcoin. I don't care how that's what you think. That's great. I'm with you. Okay. I don't. You think of it on a genetic way. I don't fucking care. What I want to do, and in whatever way I can do this with what time I have left on this earth, because I'm past 50 and there's more life behind me than there is in front of me. I want to destroy peacefully destroy the Federal Reserve Corporation of America, which I consider to be the fountain of all fucking evil on this earth. And so what I will do is I will ally with anyone that is willing to trade their weakening dollars for strengthening Bitcoin. And from this basis of we will not be fucking censored, we cannot be stopped, our opinions cannot be fucking held down because they disagree with the elites, from an honest, accountable method of exchanging value, we can build something better rather than a dishonest, counterfeit method of fucking trickery, which enslaves humanity. I would do the reverse. So that's my worldview. Want to join me? Great. Think I'm a dickhead? Okay. Thumbs down on the fucking video. I don't give a fuck. Trust me, I will not be crying at the end of this. You know what I mean? So people say, no, we have to be tribalist. All white people have to stick together. White people don't stick together. Brown people don't stick together. Human beings act on incentive. Those who control the incentives control the world. A centralized structure that controls the incentives, whether it's the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Japanese Central Bank, whatever, the Bank of China, will always be a corrupt system. It will always benefit the few at the expense of the many. So what I would like to do is promulgate a system where the many benefit themselves through honest and fair interaction that is just meaning equal, that there's an equalization between what is traded, right? On a channel that got wiped out whatever, last year. Aristotle, who I fucking admire to the end of the earth, said, money is justice. Money is justice. What that means is, if I have a boat and there's a river, right? And you want to go from this side of the river to that side of the river, but you have chickens. What are you going to do? You're going to give me a whole chicken, or you're going to give me some eggs to take you across the river, right? We have to find for people that there's unequal. It's not equal. It's not clearly perfect. If it is not clearly perfect, exchange. The difference is money, what we call money. It's gold. And for millennia, it's been gold and silver, et cetera, et cetera. Something that you value and I value enough so that we can exchange. You can get your right across the fucking river, and I don't have to fucking raise a chicken. So that's what money is. But when the money is controlled by a small group of people who can print as much of it as they want for themselves and not tell you for 6 months, a year, 18 months, and they can buy real estate, stocks, whatever, and get in a good position, and they go, oh, by the way, here's inflation. And it pumps up the value of their holdings while you get less. Well, I don't like that system. Do you? So there has not been, until recently, a different system, and that different system is Bitcoin. The crypto universe, all of this shit grew up after Bitcoin. Do you understand? Bitcoin is the king. It is the father. It is all. It is the source of all of this shit. But it is not all of this shit. Most of this, in fact, probably all of this, is shit. Ethereum, Monero, all of that. When I play with that, you can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money. But at the end of the day, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. All right. Fuck. Ow. Ugh. Cardano, this, that, and the other. Cardano saving Ethiopian kids. Kuchalango, most entertaining show in a month. Thank you, Kuchalango. Thank you. Listen, 3 hours. 3 hours, nearly, it's like half a bottle of Ouzo. It's only half a bottle. How many, what's that? How many ounces of alcohol is that? I don't know. It's a lot. I'm going to pay for this tomorrow morning when I try to fucking, when I try to squat with fucking a hangover. Oh, what fun that's going to be. Anyway, I'll do it anyway. Listen, dudes, guys, thank you for sticking with me for 3 fucking hours of Ouzo-fueled ranting about life, the universe, and everything. And I'm going to say goodnight. And I want you all to have a good night and a good sleep. And I will talk to you, hopefully, fingers crossed, next Sunday, because Sunday we get some audience. And I will. Good night, everybody. Thanks for showing up. I'll talk to you next time. Good night.